Virginia. He pitched at Virginia Commonwealth, and he's appreciative of all the help he's received.
I could go on and on about the people that have helped me along the way, and they're probably the most special to me. I don't give a lot of credit to myself. I give a lot of credit to the people that helped me along the way.
It's Orioles baseball on Masson. Tonight the Birds are back home to begin a 10-game homestand. It's game one of a 4-game series against the Cleveland Indians. And hi everybody, Jim Hunter, Buck Martinez. We are so happy to be back home. We're taking a stroll on Utah Street. Buck, tell me about getting back home after a long trip from the player's perspective.
Well, Jim, it's really important, especially for this ball club, because you have so many young players, and I think they really have a lot of confidence in this ballpark. They're 30 and 31 in this ballpark, and coming off a pretty good road trip, I think they really like the momentum.
You know, the Orioles are starting to build something here with these young players. All the experiences are valuable, but you mentioned playing at home. What is it that they take from trying to build from here?
Well, when you have young players, they're very comfortable in a routine atmosphere, and that's what it's like here. Plus, they have the fact that these are very friendly fans, and they like playing home. And I think with David Hernandez on the mound, he's going to be very comfortable tonight opening up this long homestand.
Well, we are happy to be back home. It's game one of a 4-game set with the Indians. Stay with us. Lineups and first pitch are coming right up. With new relief pitcher Clay Meredith, who pitched at Virginia. Airlines. Book your next trip at southwest.com. And by Budweiser. Reach for the perfect combination of flavor and refreshment. Budweiser, the great American lager. Welcome back, everybody. Tonight on Masson, we'll be covering the bases with new relief pitcher Clay Meredith, who pitched at Virginia Commonwealth. He grew up in Richmond, Virginia, and happy to be back in his home area. And among the many things we'll be discussing with Clay tonight, what was it like and what did you do, the chores around the house as a kid?
I was outside. I was always maybe round up the trash inside, but for the most part, I swept the driveway, I swept the sidewalk, I cut the grass, things like that, And as I got older, I actually started, it became more of a, less of a chore and more of a, something prideful I did, and taking care of the yard and trying to make sure the house looked nicest on the street.
Molly Dorsman with her rendition of the Star Spangled Banner at Oriole Park as Dave Tremblay and the Birds are back home after a long road trip. 9 games in 9 days. Birds go 4-5 over the trip. Indians in town, first time this season. The Orioles have seen the Indians. Southwest Airlines starting lineups for the Tribe. Grady Sizemore, one of the young stars of the game in center field. Jamie Carroll at third as Dribble Cabrera at shortstop. Sin Soo Choo leading the Indians in base hits, RBIs, walks, and stolen bases. Travis Hafner will DH. Luis Valbuena at second base. Kelly Shopik will catch. Matt Laporta in left field. And Eddie Marte at first base batting ninth.
Now it's time for the PNC scouting report for David Hernandez, the pre-pitch pitcher, fastball, slider, and changeup. He's had control issues the last couple of timeouts. Walks have been a problem for him. He needs to be aggressive early. Just come right out, challenge these Indians. They have not seen him before, and try to shoot for the big part of the plate early in the bat, and then work your way to the corners.
David Hernandez making his 14th Major League appearance and his 13th game in a starting role as he navigates his way. And Buck, it'll be interesting to see how Hernandez reacts tonight because he's coming off a loss. It was on the road in Chicago last week, and he has lost his last 2 starts. You don't want to get into one of these spiraling the other way, so we'll see how he reacts tonight.
Yeah, and he really has to take advantage of the fact that the Indians haven't seen him. I think the pitcher always has the advantage in these matchups. When you're not familiar with the pitcher, you have to, as a hitter, take a few pitches, get an idea about the velocity. So I think David Hernandez really needs to be aggressive tonight.
So we are set to go. It is game 1 of a 4-game series. 79 degrees, a bit muggy tonight. Mostly cloudy skies, but a slight breeze out of the east at 8 miles an hour. And the Birds are back home, and there is strike 1 taken by Grady Sizemore. Now, Sizemore, one of the big young stars in the American League, and without a doubt, he is the face of this franchise now as they have made so many changes. 1-1 down and in. David Hernandez, 24 years old, out of Sacramento, California. Fouls it back to Sizemore. It's 1-2.
Yeah, this Indians team has actually played pretty well since the All-Star break, going 21-16, and it's really a tribute to the players and their focus. Trade Victor Martinez away, Mark DeRosa, and finally a reigning Cy Young Award winner, Eric Wedge, the manager, has really had his hands full trying to make everybody just focus on the game at hand.
Hanging breaking ball, but it's pulled foul. So Hernandez got away with one as Sizemore was a bit out in front. Well, you mentioned all the changes they have made as they have dealt away Victor Martinez, they have dealt away Cliff Lee, but Grady Sizemore is an example of a young player at the time unknown. He came from Montreal for Bartolo Colon, and now he's one of the top players in the league. So sometimes you trade for the younger players they need to develop, and here's what you end up with.
Now, that's one of the big trades in all of baseball. When they picked up Sizemore, Brandon Phillips, they picked up Cliff Lee and a fella that would later on move on and played first base for them for a while.
High fly ball left center field. He got a lot of it. Long run for PA near the bullpen. That ball is gone. It just got over the wall into the bullpen, and there's a leadoff home run the opposite way for Grady Sizemore. Number 18 for Sizemore out of that leadoff spot, and the Indians grab a quick 1-0 lead.
Now, we mentioned how hot this team had been since the All-Star break, but you can see that ball was a changeup. With 2 strikes, big league hitters are just trying to protect the plate, and it's too much of the plate. Just kind of a BP fastball, if you will, because it was up too high with 2 strikes.
That is the 14th home run allowed by David Hernandez. And here's Jamie Carroll. Carroll, one of the veterans on this team, playing at third base. 290, couple of home runs, and 20 RBIs. And Hernandez misses outside, ball 2. Hernandez, over his last 5 starts, has won only once. There's a strike taken. 2-1. His last win was on August the 11th against the Athletics here at Oriole Park. 2-1 has popped up. Mora and Asturias. Melvin takes charge, and he has it for the out. And one down here in the first inning.
Let's take a look at the Orioles defense tonight. They got into town late last night, so there's some regulars getting some time off. Raimo, PA, and Marquez in the outfield. Adam Jones still dealing with some back issue. Moore and his Sturris on the left side. Brian Roberts gets the night off. Robert Andino starts. Ty Wiggins at first base, and Matt Wieters, who did not play in the game last night, is handling David Hernandez here.
Dave Tremblay allowed the team to report late today, wanted them to get as much rest as they could, so no BP on the field as Drupal Cabrera swings through it. Team landed about 10 of 3 this morning at BWI, so it was a long night and a quick morning. Popped up foul. Down the line, long run for Sturris, and Cesar gets there and makes the grab. Nicely done, and 2 men down.
Yeah, Sturris had a good beat on that all the way. It was a long run into foul territory, but he had a very good angle. It was a much easier play for him than it might have been for either Raimo or Mora. And he takes it about 2 strides into foul territory. Mora had a beat on it, but it's an easier play for the shortstop because he's got a much better angle coming from his position.
You know, you made a comment in the series in Minnesota that sometimes you don't appreciate Sturris because he makes everything look so easy. And that's an example of that. He had the angle, he had it, and he got there just as the ball did. Here is Sin-Soo Choo.
Pretty impressive numbers for Choo as you look at his .297 average with 14 home runs and 69 driven in. And he is a complete player. He's got power. He hits for average. He runs the bases very well. Caught just 1 time in 18 steal attempts. And he's got a terrific arm, and he's a great defender.
Takes it low. 2-1 the count. Out of South Korea is Sin-Soo Choo, now 27 years old. He started with the Mariners and was dealt over to Cleveland. That ball's hit hard. Marquez back on it. It's over his head and will bounce against the wall. Choo's trying for 2. Here's the throw. It will not be in time. So Sin-Soo Choo doubles over the head of Marquez. He's at second with 2 down. And 4 balls put in play, 4 balls put in the air by the Indians.
Yeah, 31st double of the season. With 2 outs, Choo hits it over Marquez's head, and he's going to be thrown out at second. If Marquez makes a good throw, he knows he's got to get into scoring position. Once this ball goes over the right fielder's head, he makes up his mind to go for 2, and he's challenging the great arm of Nick Marquez. Nick had to wait for that ball as it bounced very high off that scoreboard, and by the time he gets it in, it's too late.
Throw to first. They think Choo may have missed first base. Tim Cheetah says nope. He touched it going by. Tim Cheetah is the crew chief of this umpiring crew. He's a veteran umpire. And here is Travis Hafner, the Cleveland DH, and a dangerous hitter anytime he steps in. Breaking ball in there for a strike, and it's 0-1.
Yeah, Hafner's had all sorts of problems. He's had elbow surgeries, he's had shoulder surgeries, and that's what he's dealing with most right now. Is just coming back from shoulder surgery a year ago. It's just taken him all year long to get any kind of consistency.
Oh, wow, he checked his swing, didn't mean to do it. And he fouled it off, and it's 0-2.
Travis Hafner has always been a huge part of this offense, and after he had his arm surgery, he just never really could get it back. But they're hopeful that this year, at the end of the season, he'll be able to contain and get back to that momentum. 278, 13, and 38. Against the Orioles, he's always been a tough out, hitting over 350 with 6 home runs in 33 games.
Hernandez ahead of him, 0-2. And it's high. You see Wieters again standing up almost to present that high target, but Hafner didn't bite. Sin-Soo Choo at second base, a 2-out double. Tribe has a run in on the home run by Sizemore. Having Hafner healthy is a big bonus for the Indians because he is a consistent home run threat. But that's a good-looking breaking ball there, and he strikes out to end the inning. Indians get a run on the Sizemore home run. Indians won, and here come the Birds. Starting lineups for the Orioles coming up trailing 1-0. Esturas, PA, and Reimold with Markakis in right field. Mora at third, Scott DHing. Ty Wigginton, a career .308 hitter versus the Indians. Wieters and Andino for the Orioles.
PNC scouting report for the for the Indians left-hander Aaron Laffey, and Laffey's not overpowering. He throws 2 fastballs, a breaking ball, and a changeup. And if he's getting ground ball outs early, that means that he has got confidence he can pound the bottom of the strike zone. He too, like David Hernandez in his half of the inning, has had first inning problems. If he can get into the flow of the game and get through the first inning clean, then he might have a good outing.
And he is from Cumberland, Maryland, as he was introduced by David McGowan on the public address before the game. A large roar went out at Camden Yards, so he has a lot of friends and family here today. And there's a strike to Cesar Esturas. Brian Roberts gets the night off, so Esturas in the leadoff spot. And a bouncer to second base. Right there is Valbuena, and he gets it to first, and 1 down. As Esturas is retired. Well, this is a growing trend, Buck, with Maryland natives facing the Orioles this year.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. They're all pitchers, and Aaron Laffey, left-hander, along with Brett Cecil, left-hander. Laffey from Cumberland, Cecil from Dunkirk, and Gavin Floyd of the White Sox, of course, from Annapolis. So they've all had an opportunity to come in here and pitch here in their basically home ballpark, if you will. Chance to pitch in front of a lot of family and friends, you can bet.
He's a graduate of Allegheny High School, and he had a full scholarship set for Virginia Tech, but then the Indians, after drafting him in the 16th round in 2003, enticed him to sign, and so he elected to skip the college baseball program and sign with the pros. 0-1 the count. And PA boots it to left field, and there's a base hit. So PA's on with a 1-out single, and PA continues, Buck, to swing a hot bat.
Well, he's swinging at strikes, and that's a big difference from him now as opposed to what we saw early in the season when he was trying to hit everything, and he waits for that pitch away. Doesn't try to muscle it, doesn't try to take it to the pull side of the diamond, stays on it, and ends up with a 1-out base hit.
So PA now has a 3-game hitting streak, and there is Aaron Laffey out of Allegheny High School. Our director, Tim Walbert, also graduated from Allegheny High School, but apparently Laffey broke all Tim's records. At least that's what we're told.
Just a couple of years apart, I'm sure.
Here's Nolan Reimold. And there's a strike. But that's kind of interesting. You have a Major League television director and a Major League pitcher in the same game.
Yeah, pretty proud high school, I'm sure. Everybody involved in professional sports always makes the local high school newspaper.
Here's the 0-1 to Reimold, fouled off the shin guard of Kelly Shopik. Now, one thing with Aaron Laffey on the mound, he's in his 19th game and his 13th start, but it is extremely difficult to run against him. There have only been 3 attempts, and the Indians have caught 2. There's only been 1 successful steal. Well, with Brian Roberts not in there, the most proficient base stealer, that might be part of the game the Orioles cannot take advantage of here tonight. 0-2 on Reimold. Bouncer foul off the plate.
Well, he has a pretty good delivery to the plate in that he unloads it in a hurry, and he threw a pitch right there to Nolan Reimold that is really difficult for batters. With a runner at first base, hitters generally will pick up on a slide step delivery, and most pitchers will throw a fastball off a slide step because the goal is to neutralize the base runner. But Laffey threw a changeup, and it was a very effective combination.
Here's the 0-2. He checks his swing and a breaking ball. Reimold also has a 2-game hitting streak going, and his consistency is really beginning to increase. Interesting chat with him yesterday in Minnesota about all of the adjustments that he has to go through at this level, because night in and night out you face a pitcher who has all kinds of different looks, and they adjust to you within the at-bat. 1-2 is low, 2-2. I mean, that's the thing, Buck, as a young hitter, that I guess is the most difficult, because in the minor leagues, pitchers have stuff, but here they have confidence in all their stuff.
Well, there's a fine line, because a lot of people, I don't think Nolan or any young hitter would say it's actually easier to hit here, but there are a lot of things that make it easier.
2-2 pitch is high, pop-up, shallow right towards the line. Sing-Soo Choo, a long run in. He has it for the out, and 2 down. PA back to first.
Well, Chu in right field has good speed, closed on that very effectively. The defense behind Aaron Laffey. Matt Laporta is getting a chance to play in left field. He basically is a first baseman. Now they're going to see whether or not he can handle the outfield. Sizemore and Chu in the outfield. Jamie Carroll starts at third base. Johnny Peralta has been playing there most of the time. Asdrubal Cabrera has been very consistent at shortstop. And one is now the second baseman, Andy Marte. He too, former third baseman, now playing at first. And Kelly Shopik is the catcher today for Aaron Laffey. Eric Wedge has had to make some changes. Mark DeRosa was here early on. He's moved on.
Marquez first ball swinging, pops it up, shallow left. In is Laporta. And he has it for the out. A one-out single and a man left will lead to the second at Oriole Park. Hernandez and the Birds trail by a run. It's for the Maryland Lottery for every Oriole home run hit in the game tonight. You can have a chance to win as well. Get online, massonsports.com. And we go to the second. Luis Valbuena is leading off for the Indians, and he takes a strike. Shopik and Laporta will follow. Eric Wedge has stacked his lineup tonight. Every available left-handed batter is in there against David Hernandez. The splits against Hernandez are not really that far apart. They're 271 left-handers, 290 right-handers, so there's really not that much of a difference.
No, and I think the one thing we have seen with Hernandez more than anything is just the ability to be consistent in the strike zone. You know, he'll throw 2 or 3 pitches that are not close and then come back and make a couple of real good pitches, but he's got to be more consistent.
Slowly a ground ball towards the middle. There's his tourist right by the bag, fires to first. And one down in the Indians' second inning. Well, next week the Yankees will be here. It's their final trip of 2009 to Oriole Park, a 3-game set beginning on Monday. Great seats are available for each game, but they are going fast. And don't forget about Tuesday. It's Ollie's Bargain Night, presented by Ollie's Bargain Outlet. All upper reserve seats for the classic rivalry are just $8. 888-848-BIRD or online at Orioles.com. Here is Kelly Shopik, the veteran catcher. Hernandez deals in a foul. Shopik leads the American League in a somewhat dubious category. He has been hit by more pitches than any hitter in the American League. I'm not sure that's a goal you aspire for before the season, but he's been plunked 18 times, incredibly, on the season. Now, what does that tell you, Buck, about his batting style, that he's always around the ball? Literally.
He's slow getting out of the way. Now he stands up on top of the plate, and he's kind of a tough guy too, so he's not going to yield and certainly not going to react when he is hit. You see how close he stands to the plate. And he's kind of had a disappointing season. A year ago he had 21 home runs and 352 at bats, filling in for Victor Martinez when Martinez was knocked out because of injuries early on. Really came into his own, but it's been a disappointing offensive season for him this year.
Hernandez ahead, a ball and 2 strikes. In the dirt, doesn't chase, 2-2.
I think one thing David Hernandez is going to improve upon is trying to figure out how to finish at bats. He'll get ahead, have a couple quick strikes, and then we'll throw a breaking ball out of the zone, maybe miss with the changeup. Before you know it's 2-2, 3-2. And that just gives the hitter just too much information.
Foul back out of play.
I think once you really decide you've got an upper hand on a hitter, you just want to go for the out right away. And that's when he's most vulnerable. 0-2, 1-2. Is the aggressive.
Is that the inexperience leading you to believe that now you're ahead, you need to trick the hitter instead of just attacking the hitter?
Well, I don't know what it is, but it's a matter of just trying to be too fine. And you can't be too fine. You have the advantage when you're ahead in those counts.
Just inside, ball 3. So here you go. He was ahead 1-2, and now the count full 3-2.
And one thing that's different about big league hitters than what these young pitchers are faced in the minor leagues is that if you throw a breaking ball strike with 2 strikes, they're going to hit it because they have cut down their swings and they're just trying to put the ball in play and protect the strike zone.
The 3-2 pitch is popped back this way. In his last start in Chicago, Hernandez walked 3 while striking out 4, but he lasted only 4 innings. He allowed the pitch count to elevate. He threw 96 pitches in just 4 innings. Three and 2 to count. And it's inside, ball 4. So he lost him after getting ahead 1-2.
And these are the kinds of walks that knock you out of the game early. When you're down in the order, you get ahead in the count, you have to win those at bats. You can't allow the bottom of the order to get on with the base on balls.
There's the line from the game at U.S. Cellular Field last Saturday night. It was the middle game of the series, the one game the White Sox did win in that series, as the Birds got 2 out of 3. And here's Matt Laporta, who is now being given a look. He was one of the key players acquired last year from Milwaukee when CC Sabathia was dealt from the Indians to the Brewers.
Yeah, he was the key player. He was the one guy that the Indians insisted on having in the CC Sabathia deal. Big slugger out of the University of Florida, and one of the true power prospects in all of baseball.
He had 17 home runs in AAA this year. Nice scoop there by Matt Wieters. There's a 7-game hitting streak going. Shopik is not a stolen base threat. Good looking breaking ball there. Hits the corner, 1-2.
Now another 1-2 count, hitter count. Toughest place for a hitter to hit the ball now, down and away. Down and away strike with your fastball might get you a ground ball out and get you out of this inning.
Here's the 1-2, breaking ball outside, and he missed badly.
Now the problem with that is you have shown Laporta the outside part of the plate, so now he's really focused on down and away, and you've lost that advantage. So you throw him a breaking ball that was never in the strike zone, so he never had to think about swinging at it.
2-2 is swung on and popped up. Shallow right. Markakis moving over towards right center. And Nick has it for the out. 2 down in the 2nd inning. So Hernandez battles back as Shopik gets back to first base now with 2 down.
And it's difficult for young pitchers to really kind of think their way through a lineup. I think this is one thing that, you know, they're all very aware, and you know how much I really am upbeat about these young pitchers. But now you've got the number 9 hitter in the 2nd inning, Andy Marte. He's down in the order, hitting .262. He's got a home run and 9 RBIs. You've got to get him out. You've got to take a real aggressive approach here. And the sooner the better. You can minimize on the number of pitches you throw. You can give yourself a chance to pitch a little deeper in the game, and you're not facing Grady Sizemore with a couple of runners on.
0-1 on Marte. Swung on and fouled back, and it's quickly 0-2. Marte at one time, when he was in the Braves system, was one of the top rated prospects in all of baseball. And you see his numbers before and after August the 20th as he is really starting to come on. 0-2 is swung on and popped up again to shallow right. Markakis is right there. And he has it for the out. A one-out walk and one left. Mid-second. Back home in Baltimore. 1-0 Cleveland.
Due to back spasms. The hope is he will be back in the lineup tomorrow. Adam told me the spasms have subsided, but he still feels a little tightness in his back, especially when he sits on the bench for a long time and then tries to get up. That's when he still feels that soreness. He also doesn't have full range of motion just yet, so he's scared if he swings a bat today that he might re-aggravate those muscles. So they're giving him this extra day. He'll be re-evaluated tomorrow by the trainers, and the hope is he'll be good to go tomorrow. Now also Brian Roberts, he has the day off, and Dave Tremblay said it's simply because Brian has been playing banged up since the All-Star break. He has a number of nagging little injuries, I know including an ankle injury that he has been nursing and playing through that pain. And during this stretch where the Orioles were playing 20 consecutive games without a day off, it was just a chance for Dave Tremblay to give Brian a little bit of a rest, and we'll see him back in the lineup tomorrow. Jim?
All right, Amber, thanks very much. And as we saw Adam on the bench, he's sitting with Richie Mansell. So when you're out of the lineup with an injury, you hang out with the trainer, and the good thing is he won't see Mark Burley again because it was against Burley that he injured the back.
Took an awkward swing and a high changeup, got an RBI and a base hit, but that's when he felt the back problems. And a young player is something he's never dealt with before, so you got to be cautious, make sure he's right. And when you really think about it, what's the next couple of days at this point in the season to make sure he is 100%?
That was last Sunday in Chicago. Melvin Mora hits it deep to left field. Back it goes. Laporta's there near the wall. It is out of here. Melvin Mora hits it out to tie the game. One of those high fly balls that carried just far enough, as Laporta thought he had a play, but he ran out of room.
Well, we talked about the importance of ground ball outs, and Laffey's only gotten one so far, and this ball is down in the bottom of the strike zone, but Melvin puts a great swing on it. Laporta got to the wall, had no chance to make a catch, well beyond his reach, and we got a tie game at 1.
Northrop Grumman, the information systems powerhouse. So Melvin hits it out. There's number 5. His last home run 10 days ago on August 17th. So each team with a solo home run, and we are tied 1-1. Melvin's now hitting 3 straight games. Luke Scott DHing tonight. A little late on that swing. Luke has been moving up and down the lineup with Adam Jones unavailable. Dave Tremblay has had to decide each day, well, who do I bat third? And tonight it's Nolan Reimold, and Scott is batting 6th. He has a modest 3-game hitting streak going as Laffey misses low. But the good news is that he does have a base hit in each of the last 3 games, because overall he had a tough road trip and he's had an even tougher August. 2 balls and 1 strike on him. And again he swings through it 2-2.
Yeah, Luke's just pulling off the ball. You see his home run totals for the season. He leads the team with 20. But he got off to a red-hot start and then went through a terrible slump second half of the season. And slowly but surely trying to get his timing and his stroke back.
2-2 is a called strike 3. Oh, what a pitch. Painted the outside corner, and Scott's down on strikes, 1 away. First strikeout for Aaron Laffey.
Now take a look at the pitch. 2-2 fastball. This catches the outside corner. And Laffey gets his first strikeout.
He averages about 5.5 strikeouts per game while walking 4. And of the 2 pitchers tonight, even though they are both 24, Laffey has the most major league experience. This is his 44th major league game and his 38th major league start. David Hernandez, just his 14th game and 13th start. Wiggins in the right field. Sin-Soo Choo back on it. And has it for the out, 2 down in the Orioles' second inning. Well, don't forget, on Sunday, it is American Classics Day here at the ballpark, presented by the Maryland Lottery. All fans at the 135 game against the Indians can enjoy $1 hot dogs and $1 sodas. For tickets, 888-848-BURGER, online at Orioles.com. And don't forget, you can bring 4 non-winning American Classics lottery tickets to Oriole Park to the box office and receive a free ticket to the game while supplies last. Matt Wieters now takes a strike. Laffey averages just under 16 pitches per inning. Hernandez is at 19 pitches per inning. As Wieters fouls it back quickly, 0-2 on Matt.
One thing we told you about Laffey, if he gets ground ball outs, he's in a pretty good groove. And so far, he's only had 1 ground ball out. He got the ball in the air a little bit too much to his liking, you could bet. And it'll be interesting to see if he can make the appropriate adjustments to get down where he needs to be.
0-2 pitches hit towards third. Right there is Jamie Carroll. Double pumps and fires. Wieters out. And the inning is over. But the Orioles draw even. Melvin Mora, his 5th home run on the year, hit it out to left to tie the game at 1.
I admit I was scared to death and nervous. When I first moved in those dorms, the first semester didn't go very well for me. I had my battles with my parents. I know my parents certainly had their doubts as to how successful I was going to be at the time, and I think everyone who's 18 years old, that gets an opportunity to live by themselves and try to mix academics and a sport, it's sometimes it can be pretty tough, but I found my way. I had a lot of good people along the way help me out. I had my slip-ups here and there that helped me learn and helped me turn into hopefully the half-decent person I am today.
That's Clay Meredith talking about the transition from high school to college, and he makes a great point. When you're 18 years old, Not only are you going away from home probably for the first time in your life, you're dealing with Division I sports, the rigors and the demands of academics, and then, oh, by the way, Sunday football games and Friday night partying and all that stuff. I mean, that's a tough thing. I mean, I know, speaking from my son's experience, how challenging it is to be away from home the first time. And you know what? It takes an awful lot of discipline to first address the academics and meet the requirements it takes to play Division I baseball, and then kind of just acclimated to being home and on your own for the first time.
You're scaring me.
Oh, let me tell you. It's a long way from Jersey down to Virginia Tech. We made a lot of drives down there.
Let's see. Allie's 18, and she leaves for college tomorrow. 18 years old. There's Jamie Carroll. Sizemore skies out the left.
Now, but Clay makes some very valid points when you go away from home. And, you know, obviously you think you've got all the answers when you're fresh out of high school and you're a college freshman. Well, I can really handle this. Then you decide, I'm a little homesick here.
Well, and the other part of it, too, is the fact that he was a Division I athlete. Because the Division I sports at the major colleges, they demand a lot of your time for the sport. And somehow you have to find that balance. The balance of academics, the balance of baseball, the balance of rest, and all that other stuff.
And you don't have mom and dad there to say, you know what, Clay, you better do your homework tonight, you know, and there's always that temptation to go out and watch the football team or go watch practice or go to the library and just hang out. And the discipline is something that really is an adjustment for any kind of young student athlete.
Jamie Carroll up 3-1 the count as Sizemore skies out to begin the third. And that's outside, ball 4. So there's the second walk allowed by Hernandez.
A one-out walk, and as we cover the bases with Clay Meredith, we're going to be joined later on this evening by Jeff Zona. The scout that at the time was with the Boston Red Sox and signed Clay into the Boston system. That's where he started his professional career. And we'll be able to check in with Jeff and just see how the signing process went and how his relationship has held up over the years. I mean, I always communicated with my first scout, a great scout, and certainly an influential part of my life as a baseball player and certainly as a person.
Strike one taken by Asdrubal Cabrera, the Cleveland shortstop. Cabrera's having a good year. Began the night tied for 9th in the league in batting at .315. 23 years old, out of Venezuela. Fouled off the other way, and it's 0-2. David Hernandez has struck out 1. He has walked 2. 1 run on 2 hits. He's also walked the 2 batters, 1 each in the last 2 innings. 9 straight road games, base hits for Cabrera. And down and in, a ball and 2 strikes. There has not been a lot of stolen base activity with Hernandez on the mound, but those who have gone have been pretty successful. There have been 6 attempts, and there have been 5 steals against Hernandez. And you see the pitch counts, 20 in each of the first 2 innings. That's a formula to get you knocked out by the 5th.
Well, I think the one thing about Hernandez, and there are certain things that are important, other things that you'll take care of later. And unless it's just a track meet, you're not worried about him really handling base runners that consistently. Wanted to worry more about focusing on the batter, making quality pitches, and trying to economize on his pitch count and get him deeper into the game. That's the biggest challenge in my mind about these young pitchers, is to make them understand that their goal is to pitch into the 7th and 8th inning. Not just to have a good 5-inning start and say, boy, I made it through 5 innings. No, you don't need that in your starting rotation.
So from 0-2 to 2-2 on Cabrera. There's Brian Mattis. He certainly is learning on the job. It's only his first pro season. Chris Tillman, the youngest of the staff, 21 years old. Just outside, ball 3. So here's another count buck where Hernandez was ahead. Cabrera was down 0-2 after 2 pitches and the count full.
Yeah, and it's natural with younger pitchers because they get to 0-2 and say, oh, now you don't want to mess this up. Well, by being defensive, you end up messing it up. Instead of saying, I got you now, you got no chance, and you're not going to take advantage of it.
Runner goes, and it's ball 4. Back-to-back walks, and you can't lose a guy after getting 0-2. So Carroll, who walked on 4 pitches, goes to second. And Cabrera is now on back-to-back walks, first and second, one down.
Yeah, but we are well beyond the concern. Well, you know, he's young, he's got butterflies, and now you get into your 12th and 13th starts. You've had enough starts out there to know that butterflies aren't an issue now. Now it's just getting to the point where you can execute and you can make good pitches. I mean, they all have the stuff to be successful here. They just have to understand how they're going to utilize it to be effective.
Sin-Soo Choo comes up with 2 on, 1 in scoring position. He doubled his last at bat, his first at bat over the head of Markakis. Breaking ball high, 1-0. Here's the 1-0 pitch. There's a strike, 1-1. The extra base runners really come back to haunt you. In particular, 2 of the 3 walks he's allowed. He was 0-2 on one and 1-2 on the other. High fly ball to right. Markakis back on it. Near the wall. Appears to have a play, and he has it for the out. Carroll tags and goes from second to third. Choo a long fly ball out, and 2 down in the Indians' 3rd inning. He just missed it.
Just got underneath it, and Hernandez now with the chance to get out of this situation and eliminate the impact of those 2 walks. And Tremblay looking at matchup sheet. Sometimes they have the defensive alignments there, make sure that everybody's in the right spots. First and third possibilities here. You wouldn't expect them to try to steal a run with Travis Hafner hitting. You want him to have total concentration and a full opportunity to take advantage of the first and third situation.
Hafner, the 1 strikeout for Hernandez thus far. He was the final out of the 1st inning. And there's strike 1. Hernandez comes right at him. Hafner is now 32 years old. And as Buck mentioned, when he is healthy and productive, he is as dangerous a home run threat as there is in the American League. Check swinging a breaking ball, and he waved at it. That's strike 2. There was a good pitch.
Yeah, again, because the Indians haven't seen much of Hernandez, the quicker you get them to offer pitches, the better off you're going to be. And Hafner never saw that one. He just anticipated a fastball, got his bat going, and then when he saw it was in the dirt, he couldn't check. Again, another pitch when David Hernandez is really in the driver's seat.
Throw to first, and diving back in is Cabrera. So 0-2 on Hafner, 1-1 game. Each team with a solo home run. Sizemore for the Indians, Mora for the Orioles. 0-2 pitch, check swing down and in. And Wieters does not ask for an appeal. So the home plate umpire Kevin Causey does not ask. This is the opener of a 4-game series against the Indians. Then the Yankees come in Monday night. 1-2 pitch is hit right back to Hernandez, who gloves it with a leap. And the underhand toss gets him out of a jam. Couple of walks and 2 men left. Mid-third at Oriole Park. 1-1 game.
have a lot of nieces and nephews, you know, my sister's children, but didn't have an opportunity, you know, to have my own till recently. And it's a feeling that until you have your own child, you don't know. You really don't know. And you know, bringing her home from the hospital, I didn't know how I was going to do, but I'm thankful for my wife. She is the best mother I could ever imagine for my child.
Covering the bases with Clay Meredith, and you saw Clay's wife Natalie and their young daughter, just 5.5 months old, Addie, at the game tonight.
Certainly changes your perspective as a baseball player. All of a sudden you're playing for your wife and your baby, and your responsibilities are much increased, and it just gives you a better awareness of your focus and your commitment, and I think it helps an awful lot of players. He certainly sounds awfully committed to his family, and the fact that he is back now on the East Coast after playing in San Diego.
Well, and you know, when you choose the baseball life, it is difficult on the families because of how much time you spend at the ballpark. The season begins around Valentine's Day, and your hope is always to play through October, but at the minimum it goes through September, and it's a lot of hours and a lot of time away, and you need somebody strong at home. Aaron Laffey, 24-year-old. This is the third partial season for Laffey with the Indians. As Andino fouls it back. Andino's giving Brian Roberts a night off at second base.
Well, in talking about covering the bases with Clay Meredith, obviously family is very important. He was named after his father and his grandfather. They're both named Clay, and his mom Janice, in the Richmond, Virginia area, and that's where he grew up, and not that far away now, so it's basically like he's come home, if you will. And it's always a joy for family members to be able to see their relative, their son, their brother playing in major leagues, being so close to home.
And Dino hitting at 222, works the count full. Ground ball sharply at the short as Drupal Cabrera gobbles it up. One down in the Oriole third inning. Indians have a pretty good fielding team. They are 4th in the league in fielding.
They've had a lot of transition, obviously. Victor Martinez was here early on. He was the catcher, played first base. Eric Wedges has the mix and match, and now Johnny Peralta has moved from his original position at shortstop. He's not in the lineup tonight, but he is the regular third baseman, and he's made that transition very well. And Drupal Cabrera has taken over the everyday duties at shortstop, and Luis Valbuena has played most of the time at second.
Cesar Asturias takes a strike. Cesar in the leadoff spot tonight with Brian Roberts getting the night off. Asturias looking to extend this hitting streak to 3 in a row. A little bit outside, 1-1. Causey 6 feet, goes 185. And time requested. Well, this has to be a thrill for Laffey as he gets to pitch in his home state of Maryland, knowing that a lot of his friends and family would get here. Asturias fouls it back. This is the first appearance for him at Oriole Park.
Now you see Cumberland, Maryland, Leo Mazzoni and Sam Perlazzo also from Cumberland, Maryland, and certainly an area that can be very proud of their baseball background. And we talk about the 3 young pitchers that have pitched here this year: Laffey, Brett Cecil, and Gavin Floyd, all from Maryland.
2-2 pitch swung on and a high pop-up. Second baseman Valbuena moving back, but Sing Soo Choo charges in from right field. Has it for the out, 2 down. Well, legendary performances brought to you by Cabot Wood Stains. Our performance is legendary. August 27th, 1969, Mike Cuellar gets his 18th win and his 15th complete game of the season. How about that? August 27th, 1969.
Well, when pitchers went to the mound in those days, they intended to walk off the mound with their team. That's why you have 15 complete games. Mike could swing the bat. He was a very good fielder, and obviously had that great screwball that he threw an awful lot. And what a pitching staff, what a tradition of pitching they had developed in the early 60s and carried it right on into the 80s.
Felix P.A. batting with 2 men down. Fouls it off. He's down on the count 0-2. Laffey has had a lot of success pitching at home, and those are interesting numbers. 4-1 when PA hits a home run. Laffey has 7 wins on the year, and he's 4-0 at home. And his ERA at Jacobs Field, 1.90. Amazing home ballpark numbers. And the PA's down on strikes, can't reach the breaking ball. And the Orioles go 3 up and 3 down. Covering the bases with reliever Clay Meredith. The pictures before he became a major leaguer. 1-1 game. We'll head to the 4th. Book your next trip at southwest.com and by PNC. PNC leading the way. Lovely shot of the harbor over by the aquarium. Hard Rock Cafe to the left. And 4th inning at Oriole Park. Luis Valbuena leading off. And he's the Cleveland second baseman. Grounded out his first at bat. Now he's got a base hit to right field. Ground ball right through the hole. Cleveland has had base runners in all 4 innings against David Hernandez, as Valbuena gets on with a leadoff hit. Hernandez has averaged 10 hits per 9 innings of work, so just over 1 per inning. And here is Kelly Shopik. The Cleveland catcher batting for a second time. Fouls it off the other way, 0-1.
You know, you talk about the hit totals that David has allowed. I don't have too many problems with that. He's throwing it over. He's not timid about throwing strikes, but his command has caused him to walk a few batters of late. But as they gain more experience, and they will be able to control the velocity and the movement a little more effectively, that hit total will come down, and he'll be able to understand the value of quick outs.
0-1 on Shopik. Off speed pitch, scooped there by Wieters. 1-1.
Well, he's used his breaking ball a lot tonight. He was able to get Travis Hafner to end the Indian threat in the 3rd inning.
Throw to first, gets past Wigginton, and Valbuena will get to second base. So an error on the play allowing Valbuena to get into scoring position. It also takes away the chance for a ground ball double play.
Yeah, and I don't understand the concern about Valbuena. That ball should have been caught by Ty Wigginton. It wasn't that bad. He just had to go off the end of his glove. But Valbuena has 1 steal in 4 attempts. It's not like he's a track star with at first base, but You know, this part of the order, there's no really reason just to really focus on that base runner. He didn't have a huge lead.
The error is on Wigginton. And a strike taken by Shopik. 1-2 the count on Shopik. Now the Indians are really not a running team. They're 9th in the league in stolen bases with 67 steals. 1-2 the count on Shopik. Check swinging a breaking ball, and he went too far. That's strike 3 and 1 away, and that's a big out for Hernandez. And there's the advantage, Buck, of getting ahead as the hitter was anxious to protect.
Yeah, and that's what they do. When you hit 2 strikes, you got to throw something that's in the strike zone at some point. That ball started out in the zone. It's another breaking ball. He chases it in the dirt. Went too far, as you see from that side angle.
So 1 down. That brings up Laporta, the 24-year-old rookie. Flied out to right field, his first at bat. There's another breaking ball. That one got in there for a strike. Laporta was drafted 3 times before he finally signed.
We'll take a look at David Hernandez in his breakdown. When the opponents have none on, 327, none on and no outs, 288. It gets better and better as the situation intensifies. That's a great sign. He doesn't shy away from it, even though he has runners in scoring position.
1-1 is too tight. 2-1 on Laporta.
And I don't mind the fact that he gives up an average over 300 with nobody on, because then he focuses and concentrates on a better quality pitch, and he really hasn't been hit around with runners in scoring position.
Here's the 2-1 pitch. High breaking ball, ball 3. So Laporta is ahead in the count. Three and 1 the count on him. Another breaking ball. This one for a strike. 3-2.
Yeah, it's as if he has more confidence in his ability to throw strikes with his breaking ball than he does with his fastball.
There is Valbuena at second base with 1 down. Three and 2 on Matt Laporta. Payoff pitch line right to the shortstop. As Torres back to second. Double play. As Torres hauled it in and quickly to Andino. And that gets Hernandez out of a jam. Base hit and error, none left. Mid-4th at Camden Yards and a 1-1 game.
free upper reserve seat when accompanied by an adult. Up to 2 free kids tickets per adult. There is one more kids night remaining on the schedule this season. It's Thursday, September 17th against the defending league champion Tampa Bay Rays. For details on kids night, call the O's at 888-848-BIRD or visit Orioles.com. Jim?
All right, Amber, thanks very much. And a lot of youngsters out here tonight. Always good to have the kids here at the ballpark. Here is Nolan Reimold as we go to the 4th in a 1-1 game. It takes ball 1. Markakis and Morrow will follow. Nolan in the number 3 spot tonight. And a high chopper to short. There's Cabrera. Gets the big hop. Throws out Reimold. And 1 away. Let's get a look at our Ford trivia question for tonight to see if the crack committee can stump us again. Who holds the Orioles record for runs scored in a season?
Brady Anderson.
I'm going to say Roberto Alomar. And we'll see if we're right. We'll let the fans ponder that. The Orioles record for most runs scored in a season. And the answer is Roberto Alomar. 132 in 1996. Second all-time in runs. So that was Robbie's first year here. The funny thing is, I thought it was 97. That's my first year, and he was on the team. I remembered something about that year, but it was the year before.
Great player. Really a good player. And certainly enjoyed a lot of success early in his career in Toronto. Came over to the Blue Jays from the San Diego Padres. Played with his Indians team as he did for the Orioles.
I'm sure he'll end up in Cooperstown. 1-2 on Markakis with 1 down as Laffey gets ahead of the Orioles cleanup hitter. Foul ball. Nick is in somewhat of an RBI drought for him. In the 9 games on the road trip, he had only 1. He's still among the league leaders in RBIs. He's got 85. 1-2 pitch foul back. But sometimes there's nobody on base. So if you don't hit it out, no RBI chance. As he bats here in the 4th, 1 out, none on.
Pretty good cut right there on a ball that stayed on the inside part of the plate. Nick Markakis in July, 291, pretty good numbers, 4 and 20, and then his average really jumped in August. Home runs about the same, but the result, as you mentioned, not many people on board, so his RBI totals are down for the month.
And he's down on strikes, swings through it. And 2 down on the 3rd strikeout for Laffey. Time to bring you up to speed. The AT&T Rapid Rewind.
All the scoring on the long ball. Grady Sizemore homers leading off the game. That was a solo shot to left center for Sizemore, number 18. And Melvin Moore goes deep, leading off the 2nd inning off Aaron Laffey. He's 5th of the season. Made it a 1-run game.
AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. 2 down. There's Melvin Moore. Melvin batting for a 2nd time. He got the Orioles even in this game with his 5th home run. Now, Melvin did not have an RBI on the road trip, and he hits 1 out in his first at bat on the homestand.
Well, we had talked about the benefits of this ball club coming back home. Started this series, they are 30 and 31 at home compared to just 22 wins in 66 games on the road. So everybody feels a little more comfortable in this ballpark, and that's a good thing with a 10-game homestand here to wrap up August and take us into September. Lots of good games coming up. The Orioles will take on the Indians 3 more in this series, and the Yankees and the Texas Rangers come into town.
Too tight, 2-1. And the Yankees are in first place, and the Rangers are in contention both in the West and in the wild card.
Rangers knocked off the Yankees again today, 7-2 in a day game at Yankee Stadium, and they are right in the midst of the postseason talk.
Morrow lines it to right center field. There's a base hit. Melvin is 2 out of 2. So a 2-out base runner for the Orioles in the 4th. Time for our Radio Shack. What do you know? 3 current Orioles were originally drafted by the Indians. Luke Scott back in 2001, Jeremy Guthrie in 2002, Michael Aubrey in 2003, and Danny Baez signed with the Indians as an undrafted free agent after he left Cuba. That was in '99. So how about that?
Michael Aubrey, Jeremy Guthrie, former #1 picks in back-to-back years, and Jeremy had a tremendous game last night. 7 strong innings against the Twins. Pick up his 9th win of the season. Michael Aubrey's been a nice addition to this ball club. A chance to take a look at him down the stretch. See how he might play into the plans in the future.
I'm sure he's anxious to get in the lineup. There's Michael Aubrey on the bench. As the Indians traded him over to the Orioles in a minor league deal. But now with the big club, there's a strike to Scott. Even though Luke has the modest 3-game hitting streak going, Buck, you can see that he's still not picking up the pitches as he was earlier, because he's beginning to get upset with almost every pitch on the outer part of the plate. And that to me has to be a confidence of knowing your zone at the moment.
Yeah, and not seeing the ball very well out of the hand, and everything looks like it's a foot further away from you than it actually is.
Breaking ball's high, ball 2. They have a modified shift on him. They're playing him the pull. There's Cabrera, the shortstop, on the second base side, and the second baseman Valbuena is deep in the hole. And you see Sizemore in center field also shading to the gap. Some room in left center and a lot of room down the left field line for Luke Scott. Good eye there, ball 3.
You see Laffey does a pretty good job of throwing that breaking ball and varying the speeds with it. It's one kind of a slurvy breaking ball, but he'll add and subtract velocity. It'll get bigger as he backs off the velocity, and it'll be a little short and quick breaking ball as he adds to it.
Swings through it, 3-2.
Well, another real borderline pitch that Luke's chased, and he's just not been as selective as he was early in the season, and that's part of his problem. And you get anxious, obviously. You want to get back to productivity, and when you do that, you will chase pitches that are borderline.
3-2. Morrow will be off with the pitch. 2 men down. And the 3-2 is fouled back. Melvin's always talking to the players on the field. At least he's having fun. There's Luis Valbuena, who he was chatting to walking back to first, is also from Venezuela. Full count with 2 men down. More runs. Here's the pitch, fouled off. So Luke protecting that outside corner that time and got a piece.
Laffey's got a little more fastball than you might expect. That last pitch down and away at 93 miles an hour. A pretty wide gap in velocity. Breaking ball in the upper 70s, and that fastball can get as high as the low 90s.
Another 3-2 pitch to Scott, and he fouls it back.
See, the ratio is starting to get a little bit closer to a favorable relationship for Laffey with the ground ball outs. He's had 2 ground ball outs in the last 2 innings, and so far just a few too many balls in the air, and one of them left the ballpark. That was Moore's home run in the second.
3-2 hit towards right center field, not that hard. Sizemore charging in, and it hangs for the center fielder for the out. 2 out hit, a man left. We played 4 at Oriole Park. Game 1 of a 4-game series and a 1-1 game.
Cal Ripken was a big leaguer, and he was, a lot of times major leaguers don't do things the most orthodox way, and he, like a lot of the really good players, have a knack for fielding the ball and just nice and easy over to first base, and it was the coolest thing to me, growing up, and something I just messed around with in the backyard. Little did I know that as I got older, I would revert back to that arm slot on the mound, and I think it's just a natural slot for me. I can't really explain it.
Well, you think about, as we cover the bases with Clay Meredith, just how many youngsters, whether they became major leaguers or not, that Cal Ripken had an impact on. And here's one that, as a youngster, Cal had an impact, and he became a big leaguer. Marte to deep center field, PA back, and it's over his head against the wall. Reimold has to back up, and Marte is heading towards third base, and he is in with a leadoff triple. So PA didn't get back far enough as it was hit well, and then too close to the wall, so it banged past him the other way. Nice job by Reimold to back up.
Well, Marte has been a big hitting prospect in the past, and he's got a little pop. As you can see, he hits right to the base of the wall in center field, and once he sees it bounce away from Felix PA, he turns on the speed and ends up with the leadoff triple in the number 9 spot in the lineup here, starting the 5th.
Orioles will play the infield back in the 5th inning in this 1-1 game. Back to the top of the lineup. Here's Grady Sizemore. There's a strike. So many times tonight that breaking ball for the first pitch that gets in there for a strike. Sizemore homered leading off the game and then flied out to left. Swings through at 0-2.
Boy, he has really been in command of the at-bats. Several times tonight he's pitched himself into an 0-2 count, but then been so cautious he gets the hitter back into the at-bat.
Here's the 0-2, a little low, he didn't chase. Hernandez has struck out just 2, he's walked 3, and to this point none of the walks have hurt him, other than elevating his pitch count. Marte at third, a leadoff triple, his first triple on the year. 1-2 on Grady Sizemore. Knocked it off.
What's happened now, this is the 3rd time through the order. Hernandez has shown the Indians that he's going to throw more breaking balls for strikes than fastballs. And this is where you have to be aware, both as a catcher and a pitcher, that it might be time to get off the breaking ball and come back with the fastball and changeup a little more frequently. Those numbers reflect it. 329, 3rd time through the order.
Hard hit ball right to short. His Torres thought about coming to the plate, and then he fires to first, so that's an RBI ground out. I guess Cesar felt he was too deep and didn't want to risk it, so there's an out at first base, RBI ground out, and 2-1 Cleveland.
Well, the reason he looked was the base runner Marte didn't react on contact. So Cesar looked at the situation and said, well, I might have a shot at it, but Dave Tremblay put the infield back for a reason. He wanted him to get the sure out, and that's why Torres didn't chance that throw to the plate.
So Sizemore has both RBIs. Jamie Carroll takes a strike. Carroll popped up to third in his first at bat, walked his last time up, and the numbers we just saw with the 3rd time through the lineup, Sizemore just batted for his 3rd time, so we're now in that part of the game for David Hernandez. High pop up right side, and Dino in shallow right field has it for the out. Wow, nearly misjudged that. 2 men down.
Well, we talk about the development of the pitchers, and on the road trip in 9 starts, they pitched pretty well, considering they were in Tampa Bay, Chicago, and Minnesota. 3 tough teams, and in the 9 starts, they had a 4.24 ERA. Guthrie, 2-0, pitched very well on the road trip, first in Chicago, then in Minnesota in the finale. One thing different about this ball club on this most recent road trip was they won all 3 of the getaway games. It's something that's always been a challenge for them, and this time they were just focused and played right through the three-game series to win the getaway games each time.
They went 4-5 on the trip to the Orioles, and 3 of those 5 losses were by a run. Late on the swing is Asdrubal Cabrera, and it's 0-2. Cabrera has popped up foul to Izturis, and he's also walked. Foul back the other way.
Again, 0-2. I mean, this has been a familiar theme. Now David's going to have to figure out a way to take full advantage of it. This is where a young pitcher has to understand he's the one that's in charge of the at-bat, not the hitter.
Check swing and no appeal. 1-2 the count.
Again, Asdrubal Cabrera never really offered it that pitch because he was anticipating a breaking ball.
He went that time. Same pitch and a different result as Cabrera chased, but the Indians scratch out a run. Mid-fifth at Camden Yards, 2-1 Cleveland.
In VCU where the Richmond Braves used to play, and he basically just kind of had a one-on-one with me. I only knew him as a scout before that, and that day he kind of we leaned up against the car and he kind of just put his arm around me, and we just talked that day, and we didn't talk too much about baseball. We talked about a lot of other things, and he kind of lit a fire in me and kind of made a bet with me at the same time, and I can honestly say that I was grateful what he said to me that day and what he did for me, and then sure enough he kept his word, and a few months later he made me a Red Sox.
That is Clay Meredith covering the bases tonight with Clay Meredith, and the scout he is talking about, Jeff Zona, at that time worked with the Red Sox and drafted and signed Clay to the Sox, and he's now with the Nationals. And Jeff, nice enough to join us by phone. And Jeff, tell us first about that relationship that Clay is talking about, because obviously scouts like you that find the talent, we always see the end result once they become big leaguers, but you know them more as people as well as ball players. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's a thing that I worked for Boston for 16 years, and it's my third year over in Washington, and I'm in a different capacity now as a special assignment major league scout, and I really do miss the years of being a area scout, like I was over in Boston. And you establish a relationship with kids, but you still know that you only got 1 in 30 chance to get a kid in the draft. And I think the thing that it was interesting with Clay is the fact that the talk that he said that we had, I basically said to him, based on what I've heard, this doesn't need to go through the scouting ranks. Get yourself together, and basically, you're going to be fine. But if you don't get yourself together, you could slip 5, 6, 8 rounds in the draft. And I said, I'm only 1 of 30 clubs. I got 1 in 29, 30 chance to get you. And it was just, it's just something I'll never forget. But like I said, you have different relationships with different players, and you hold them dear to you because you're on the road traveling all the miles. The fans don't realize how these players get signed. Sometimes you hear people say, well, how did they get that guy? Well, we all know the stories how we got that guy. And it's just I'm so proud of him and what he's done.
Jeff, so many guys are standouts. 6'6", throw 95 miles an hour. Steven Strasburg was a slam dunk. Everybody could tell why he was going to be a Major League pitcher. What was it that you saw in Clay Meredith that made you believe he was going to be a Major League pitcher?
Well, it really comes down to one thing, and it's one thing I believed in. I was a pitcher myself, and I think you guys probably have seen it since he's come over to the Orioles. There is one thing, I don't even think it's overboard. There is a swagger when he walks to that mound. There is a give me the ball, I want the next pitch, here I come, give me the ball back, and let's go. If you look at his demeanor, the way he glares in at the hitter, I know you guys know what I'm talking about. He had that same thing in college, which with a side armor, guys had no chance. I mean, no chance. And to me, I just looked out at him, and before I ever met him, I said, this guy is coming after you. And there are not a lot of pitchers in bullpens today that if they don't have their great stuff, you don't really know how good they're made up. This one here, I could tell how he was made up before I ever talked to him, and I think you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, there's not been a successful big-time pitcher in the big leagues that didn't have swag. There's no question about that. Talk about Clay going to the Red Sox, signing with the Red Sox, and then going out to San Diego, and now getting a chance to come back and playing closer to home. I know his family's very important to him, but how much of an aspect of that coming to Baltimore really is a benefit to Clay Meredith as a player and as a person?
Well, it's a big thing, and I was out in spring training in Arizona this year, and matter of fact, I was the wife and he were out there by themselves when their baby was born, and I was probably the first one they saw after the baby was born because the families weren't out there. And I always told them, I said, I'm going to try to get you. I'm going to try to get you. And I have all through, anytime there was talks, I said, let's get Meredith. Let's get him. And I knew that he wanted to come back over here. And, man, when I was sad it didn't work out with us. But when he got with you guys, I said, they got a good one. And I know for he and his family, it's outstanding. Technically, if you go back, he should still be in Boston. They brought him up to the big leagues inside of a year when they drafted him. They couldn't touch him in the minor leagues. They brought him up, and as you guys know, you get brought up in the pressure cooker in Boston. You make a mistake, you give up a grand slam your first outing, and the next thing you know, they can't find you. They can't get you back to AAA fast enough to try to protect you. And they went in that Mirabelli trade. He was a throw-in in the Mirabelli trade. And he went out there to San Diego and pitched, 36 scoreless innings and broke a club record. So I know Theo Epstein, who's an outstanding, GM and whatever. Theo will say today that was the worst trade he's ever made.
It's interesting the way that you worded that you tried to get the Nationals to acquire him because you knew what he would add to the bullpen. And it's interesting. We have the Battle of the Beltways. The Nationals are on Masson. The Orioles are on Masson. And I guess Gary Renicky one-upped you in that regard because he's the Orioles scout out there on the West Coast that recommended him to Andy McPhail as Weeders pops it up.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's just, when you say you're trying to get someone, it's just any time there's discussions. For me, I was bringing him up because I knew what he had. I knew what but sometimes the trades don't line up or you don't have the right guy or whatever, where they're not ready to move him at that time. But it's amazing that he got over here with the Orioles very close to where, our place or your place is where it would have made him the happiest.
Jeff, when you have a player like Clay Meredith, I don't know if you were on him in high school before he got to VCU, but I guess it's an individual's thing where you see a personality of a guy and say this kid would benefit from going to college. Was that the case with Clay Meredith?
I didn't really even know who Clay Meredith was in high school. He pitched on the south side of Richmond here, and he pitched for Johnny Grubb, who was a high school coach. Johnny Grubb, the ex-major leaguer, and Johnny Grubb actually told the VCU coach, he says, hey, I got a guy here. Give him a little scholarship, $1,000 scholarship. He told the coach, he said, take this guy. He'll be good for you. And really the scouts, we didn't really know about him until his second year at VCU when you looked out there and said, geez, this guy's nasty.
When you think about the scouting, and the Orioles happen to have one in the game tonight, David Hernandez, a 16th round draft pick for those like you who know these guys before they're anything, it has to be pretty satisfying for you to have the vision of what you saw, that what you thought that player might become when he eventually does in fact get to the big leagues.
Yes, it is, and it's something, any scout who's going on to a lot of levels or that's higher up in the game now, like our Mike Rizzo, who was a 12-year area scout and signed Frank Thomas and a bunch of other big leaguers and worked up through the ranks, and now he's a GM. Mike Rizzo and I can still sit in a room and have the same talk about those trips and the players and who we got and how we got them. And, I still hold it dear to me. I look over in Boston, and there's still guys with names attached to mine over there that I signed, and I still look over there. But it's the only thing you hold dear to you is I have 3 boys of my own who are 16, 13, and 9, and they heard the stories in the house on the phone or whatever. So now as kids come along, hey, Dad, I remember how you got that guy or this guy. There's nothing like it.
Well, Robert Andino draws a walk, so the Orioles have something going here. 2 on with 1 down. We're talking with Jeff Zona, the scout who signed Clay Meredith for the Boston Red Sox then, as we cover the bases tonight with Clay Meredith. And Clay Meredith certainly is working his way in, and the one adjustment that he's trying to make is going from the National League to the American League, and I guess that is a big adjustment, even though, as you say, he started with an American League team, but most of his big league experience has been with San Diego.
Yeah, and that's something that, you guys see it, and the side I'm on now, I bear down on that a little bit harder, but basically with those sidearm pitchers, it's pretty much what I look for with those things, and most scouts do, is if you're a sidearmer with a hard sinker like Clay's, he's got to throw that pitch 75-80% of the time. That's his bread and butter, and any of those guys with their breaking balls, they don't throw from a higher slot, so the tilt isn't there. It's not really a sharp, quick breaking ball. It's a frisbee. You can always pick apart their breaking ball, and then they got to have a changeup or something to go away from lefties. So they're all about the same, but at the end of the day, it's how nasty that sinker is, and they can keep beating people to death with it.
Jeff, you'll remember the name Eddie Bachman. He's a scout that I signed with originally with the Phillies, a longtime guy with a lot of success. Well, going to have a double play here. Not quite.
Safe at first, throw eludes the first baseman, and the Orioles get the tying run. So what might have been an inning-ending double play, Astura's hustling down the line, and the error allows the Orioles to draw even.
And it looked like they had a chance to turn 2 right there, and Wigginton comes in to score. His leadoff walk proving important here in this inning. A couple of walks in the inning, and the third baseman, Jamie Carroll, with a good feed to second. But Valbuena throws it wide of the mark, and the Orioles have tied it at 2-all. But I mentioned Eddie Bachman and the scout relationship that I had with him all throughout my career and beyond it. Talk about the things that you and Clay can talk about at this point where Clay still has a trust in your judgment about certain things on the field.
Yeah, it's like I said, when you're in the signing of player business for a while, where you're actually the guy who signed them, you have different degrees of relationships. Some, the kids that I sign, I always follow them from when they're first pitching A ball all the way to the big leagues. And some respond back to it, and there's different degrees. Trot Nixon and I today, he's like a younger brother to me, and the other players, the Adam Everetts and the players that I signed. Well, with Clay, it is a little bit special when you really knew that he clung to you a little, and then now we're almost like we're friends. And I'll tell him, hey, I saw you pitch today in spring training. I see him throw and call me after the game. I'll say, hey, man, you did this, or this. But that's just because the relationship has taken on a friendship and a something that you hold dear to you. And one of the biggest things I had in spring training out there is, spring training can get real long. And there was a hockey game at the Coyotes one night, and Trot Nixon called me. He was with the Brewers in camp, and he says, I'm going to come up. And Clay says, yeah, I'm going to come up and bring my wife and the new baby. And they came up, and we had a suite there or whatever. And we all spent the night. And I said, and I could tell you what, those two don't realize what that meant to me.
Well, Jeff, we very much appreciate your visit and the insight on Clay Meredith. Thanks very much tonight as we cover the bases with Clay. Always a pleasure. And, hey, stop by the ballpark. You're in the family now.
Yes, thanks. Thank you, guys.
PA, a hard hit ball fielded by Valbuena. He'll go to second for the force. And that ends the inning, but the Orioles do tie on the unearned run on the throwing error. Well, there's Natalie and Addie Meredith, the wife and lovely young daughter of Clay Meredith.
Deep. Grady Sizemore hit a home run to the opposite field. Then he strikes out Travis Hafner, and he has the ability to get that breaking ball down in the zone. The other side of the diamond, Melvin Moore goes deep for the 5th time and tied it up at 1-1. And then Laffey got some pretty good pitches. He strikes out Luke Scott and Felix Pierre, breaking balls away, and we stand tied 2-2 here.
Sin-Soo Choo with a bunt attempt that goes foul. Choo leading off in the Indians' 6th against Hernandez. So the unearned run scored by the Orioles in the bottom of the 5th has tied this game at 2. The Indians have had base runners in every inning against David Hernandez. Now working here in the 6th. Choo fouls it back quickly. No balls and 2 strikes.
Again, 0-2. He has done it consistently all night long, and he has the ability to pitch ahead. And these are all real positive signs that we're seeing some growth with David Hernandez. But again, the same pattern, flipping that breaking ball 0-2. I mean, if he gets it over the plate, now the Indians are looking for that breaking ball 0-2. And if he makes a mistake with it, somebody's going to run into it. Another one where he just tries to overthrow it. That's a slider that has had some adjustments. He has changed the grip on it from time to time to get a little more depth to it. 0-2 to 3-2. And this is a real benefit for the hitter because he continues to gain more information with every pitch he sees.
Full count on Choo leading off in the 6th. And there's a line drive to center field for a base hit. So Choo gets on with a leadoff single after falling behind. No balls and 2 strikes. Attention youth sports teams, coaches and players. Call the Orioles and get your team signed up for Youth Sports Day. It is Sunday, September 20th at Oriole Park with the Red Sox in town. Your football, field hockey, lacrosse, basketball, baseball, any sports team can take part in a pregame parade around the field at Oriole Park. You also can enjoy great group pricing on tickets. For all the details, 888-848-BURGER, online at Orioles.com.
There's really never been a better time in the most recent history of this ball club to get associated with this team because there are so many young kids that you can grab onto and follow their development and their growth here. Adam Jones, Nick Markakis, Nolan Reimel, Matt Wieters, and then all the pitchers, of course. But it's certainly a time to grab a hold of one of these young players and develop a relationship as a fan and then watch them grow and become impact players here.
Travis Hafner fouls it back 0-1. Hendrickson now beginning to get loose in the Oriole pen. David Hernandez trying to hang on here and get through this inning. Game is tied at 2. Long look to first. Check swinging a breaking ball and it's low. Hernandez has 3 strikeouts. He's also walked 3. He has now allowed 5 base hits. Chris Reyes now joined Mark Hendrickson in the Orioles pen. Foul down the left side, the opposite way, and it's 1-2. The Indians have hit for the cycle in this game as a team. They have 5 hits, which include 2 singles, 1 double, 1 triple, 1 home run. Another 1-2 count for David Hernandez. Nub foul the other way, and fortunately for the Orioles, that did go foul because Morrow was wide of the bag with the lefty up.
Yeah, cued it right off the end of the bat. It was another breaking ball that Hafner was out in front of. But obviously, when you set up your defense, you set them up for well hit balls. You can't set them up to defend against the flares. And this is what he has done in the past. 2006, when he's healthy, one of the most productive hitters in all of baseball.
Count holding 1-2. Chu runs, pitch is taken for the second base. He is out at second base. Wieters guns him down, and a quick tag by Astures.
Well, Matt Wieters is really starting to gain confidence behind the plate, and he's made some subtle adjustments. Only the second time this year Chu has been thrown out. He has been very effective. A great throw on the money, quick tag by Astures. But watch the alignment. Right there, Wieters has opened up that front side a little bit more open, and that has allowed him to get through the throw. Early in the season, he was throwing a little bit across his body. Watch his front foot, how it lands in line with second base, and that throw is a bullet right on the bag.
Well, 2 down. Here's Valbuena, bouncer to second base, charging is Andino. He gets it to first, and Hernandez gets out of it. Base hit, none left. Mid-6th at Camden Yards. It's a 2-2 game.
They reported that Brewers closer Trevor Hoffman was claimed off of waivers this afternoon. The report did not name the team rumored to have claimed him. Also, it looks like Brad Penny will land with a contending team soon. Penny was released by the Red Sox Wednesday. As many as 8 teams are reported to have interest in him, including the Yankees, Rockies, and Rangers. Also, Tim Hudson is expected to make his regular season debut with the Braves on Monday. He is returning from Tommy John surgery. Jim?
All right, Amber, thank you very much. So how about that as the deadline to be eligible for postseason looms on August 31st, and still some wheeling and dealing to be done.
Yeah, and you're going to see a lot of teams really focusing on how they're going to improve their ball club from this point forward. Atlanta Braves, they might have waited a little bit too long to pull the trigger. They are ahead of San Diego tonight 6-0, but they lost the first 2 games of the series to the Padres. And you just can't allow that to happen if you have postseason aspirations. Brad Penny's an interesting study in that he asked the Red Sox for his release after Tim Wakefield came back and took his spot in the starting rotation. I expect that he's going to have an opportunity to pitch in the big leagues in a pennant race, and I think it's a good fit for Colorado. They've got Aaron Cook on a disabled list, and although his shoulder problems aren't as serious as they thought, he would be a good fit in that big ballpark with a good defense behind him.
3-0 to Reimold is high ball 4. There's a 4-pitch walk in a tie game to begin the 6th inning. That is the 3rd walk by Aaron Laffey, and they've all come in the last 2 innings. The leadoff walk last inning eventually scored on the error.
Trevor Hoffman's an interesting situation. Evidently, there have been a waiver claim put in on Hoffman, and the Brewers, they've kind of spun out of control. Looked like they were going to be a contending team down the stretch, but it seems as though there's a lot of dissension over there. There's a lot of focus, and now they're looking to dump Trevor Hoffman's salary for the final month of the season.
Markakis swings through an off-speed pitch, 0-1. And of course, the Brewers can pull him back, or they can make a deal with the team that claimed them.
Or they can just let him go.
And
they don't have to make a deal.
Right. Just like what happened with Alex Rios. 0-1 the count. A little bit low, 1-1.
The team that I find very interesting that they've not done anything, the Tampa Bay Rays. They have Kyle Crawford with back problems, very similar to what Adam Jones is going through, and he's not available until tomorrow at the earliest. And right now they are literally playing with a 2-man bench, and you can't afford to play short when games are so critical. I understand their situation. Trevor Hoffman might be a perfect fit for Tampa Bay. I thought Billy Wagner would be a perfect fit for Tampa Bay, and they had the first opportunity at him as they were below Boston in the waiver claim process. But when you have a 2-man bench and one of them is a backup catcher, basically you have one extra player.
Too tight, 2-2 on Markakis. Well, the Rays are 4 back in the wild card. There's just Todd getting up, right-handed for the try. But the problem that the Rays have is not only are they 4 back of Boston, Texas is between them and the Red Sox. It's the wild card. It's the 3 second-place teams battling it out. Ground ball towards the middle. It is fielded. Flip to second one. Back to first. There's a double play. Another double play turn by an opposing team on a tremendous start by a middle infielder. This time it says Dribble Cabrera.
Well, we told you how good the middle of this infield is, and watch Cabrera. He is going away from the play, flips it behind him right on the money to Valbuena, who makes a quick turn and throws a strong throw to first to Marte for the double play. These two, and Cabrera on the left, he can play second or short, as can Valbuena. So Valbuena now is the backup shortstop to Cabrera. This is a pretty good tandem they have watched play here and develop in the second half of this season.
Double play erases the leadoff walk. 2 down for Melvin Moore. Melvin has a perfect night going, takes ball 1. And there's a bloop to center field. That's going to fall. Melvin has a 3-hit night. He's 3 for 3. So that extends the inning, and Melvin Mora has his 3rd base hit.
Yeah, Melvin's had a big night here. He hit that home run in the 2nd inning, his first at bat, and then back-to-back singles to center field.
Chris Ray still up in the Orioles pen.
It looks like he's thinking about coming in because he's very deliberate in his pitches. He's ready to go, obviously. Now all he's doing is kind of watching the inning develop, throwing him just enough to stay hot. I got to believe he's coming into this game.
Check swinging a breaking ball. It's outside. 1-0 on Luke Scott.
David Hernandez has done a nice job. Just 5 hits alive. Leadoff home run, and then the single run that came in on the leadoff triple and ground out by Grady Sizemore.
1-0 pitch. Oh, and a good cut and fouled it back.
But, you know, you look at 6 inning starts, and you just got to figure out a way as a pitcher to get into the 7th. That one more inning will give you the support of your offense, one more turn through the lineup, one more opportunity for them to score runs, one more chance for you to get in a position to win a game. And you eliminate that bridge pitcher in the bullpen. If you stay out until the 7th, chances are they're going to bring in the setup guy, then the closer, makes the situation a lot better for your team. So I think the challenge for all these young starting pitchers is to understand to get into the 7th and 8th. That's the ultimate goal. Not to have good 6 inning starts, but to have good 7 and 8 inning starts.
2-1 on Scott. Aaron Laffey deals outside, ball 3. I thought you made a very good point early on when you said, you know what, the development time is over. Now it's about winning.
Yeah, and you know what, everybody's a little different. You know, David's a little more advanced. Brad Bergerson is even more advanced than David, and then you back off all the way to Madison Tillman. And everyone's different, and you have different expectations and different challenges with each one of them. You can't make blanket statements about all 5 of these young starters and say, well, they all need to do this. Well, they all need to do something different. And you can see Mattis and Tillman talking around Jeremy Guthrie on the bench, but the whole thing is everybody's different. Tillman was working on his alignment in his side session in Minnesota, just trying to get the opportunity to refine his pitches. Brian Mattis just didn't have a good delivery. His entire start against Minnesota, he was out of tempo and out of rhythm.
3-2 is hit deep to right center field. Back it goes. It is gone. Oh, shoot, is off the wall. Morrow's going to score, and the Orioles get the lead. I thought it hit the wall of the bleachers. It hit the first wall. So Luke drives in the run, and the Orioles get the lead.
Well, there's a big hit for Luke Scott, and he needed one of these. A 2-out double to the wall in center field drives home Melvin Morrow. 17th double of the season, and well, that's a big hit. That puts David Hernandez in the opportunity to win a game. That's a fastball out over the plate. He stays on it, and watch how his head stays on this pitch. Right down on the ball. He sees it on contact and drives it to the base of the wall in right field.
And that'll do it for Aaron Laffey as the Orioles now have the lead. Wedges out to go to the bullpen. So the Orioles get the lead here in the 6th inning. So pitching change at Camden Yards. A run in, runner at second, 2 down in the 6th. Masson brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your next trip at southwest.com. And by Corona and Corona Light, official sponsors of the timeout. Relax responsibly. Beautiful night in the Inner Harbor. As Aaron Laffey is knocked out here in the 6th inning. Leadoff walk was erased by the double play. Mora kept it going with a single, and then Luke Scott doubled to drive in the go-ahead run. Yeah, and one of those 3 runs, unearned, obviously, the Wigginton walk and then the subsequent error by the second baseman cost him a run. Just Todd
part of the deal that said Mark DeRosa to St. Louis. He and Chris Perez came over to the Indians, and Todd has pitched just 7 innings so far. He was part of that trade. It was made on the 26th of July. Spent most of the season at AAA Memphis, and he led the PCL with saves with 24 saves.
Here's Ty Wigginton. Hard hit ball, foul.
First pitch slider. Ty was hard charging, looking fastball, and got out in front of it.
Ty 0 for 1 and scored the second run, as Buck mentioned, on the walk and the error by the second baseman Valbuena. Outside. Todd spent most of the year in AAA, now getting a chance with the Indians. Inside ball 2. Wigginton starting at first base tonight. Last night in Minnesota, it was Luke Scott at first. The night before, it was Michael Aubrey. Here's Luke at second base. RBI double to get the Orioles the lead. Pretty good fastball. He swings through it. And 2-2 on Wigginton.
Pretty good fastball away in the same spot where he threw the slider. So Wigginton was looking out at that part of the plate, but chased a bad pitch off the plate.
Two and 2 on Wigginton. Outside ball 3.
Hasn't had to deal with anything inside right now, so you think with this payoff pitch that something is going to be away from it, and that's a real advantage with limited information about Jess Todd. Wigginton can cut the plate in half and look for something on the outer half.
Three-two pitch coming. And Wigginton hits it high down the right side, fading towards the stands. Chu is over, and he runs out of room.
Wigginton got his fastball, but just got underneath it. Again, Todd hasn't shown anything on the inner half of the plate.
Another runner out there in scoring position. Luke Scott has a good lead at second. 3-2 on Wigginton. And he fouls off a good pitch to stay alive.
And another pitch away, and no matter what, you can have a pretty good idea that the balls are going to be away from you, but there's still that little bit of doubt that keeps you from really hanging out over that plate. Your ego won't allow you to give up that inside part of the plate.
3-2 the count, holding on Ty Wigginton. Line to center field. Sizemore in on it and makes a diving catch. It hung up just long enough, and Sizemore takes a base hit away from Wigginton. But the RBI double by Luke Scott has given the Orioles the lead. We'll head to the 7th, a 3-2 game.
hitter has been down and away and wicked, and he's pitching with a renewed confidence coming out of that bullpen. He's in a position right now to pick up a win for David Hernandez this season. Pretty good record, 34 games. Don't worry about the ERA. His last several games, he's pitched very well. 11 appearances, a 0.60 ERA, and the league's hitting under 200 against Chris Ray. This is the Chris Ray we knew before he had his elbow problem. He looks like he's on the way back.
So the bullpen comes on to work here in the 7th. And Ray will go after the lower third of the Cleveland lineup. So Hernandez, because he did at least get through 6, now qualifies for a win if the bullpen can hold off Cleveland. There's still 9 outs to go in this game. Here's Shopik to lead off. 2 at-bats. He has walked and struck out. There goes the bat. Look out, Melvin.
Now that happens when a hitter is off balance and fooled by a pitch. This is the first pitch slider. Kelly Shopik looking for a fastball. You can see how he loses the grip, and that thing helicopters all the way out to third base.
Melvin was going to catch it. You got to have fun at the game. Well, 1 is outside, 1-1.
We talk about Chris Ray and how much better he's been of late. Over the last 11 games, he's been outstanding. And it always focused right on his command, and there's no question about that. Another good fastball, just missed the outside corner. When you come back from surgery after missing a year like Chris Ray, the velocity can be there. You can have all of your pitches, but the final piece to the puzzle is the finish and the location. And now he's getting full extension, confident that that elbow is 100% sound. He didn't like that last pitch as he muscled it right out of the strike zone.
So 3-1 the count in a 1-run game. Popped up to shallow right. Markakis is right there. How's it for the out? 1 down.
The bullpen has really worked an awful lot, and it's directly related to the inexperience of the starting staff. If you look at the Orioles, 434 innings, and then look at the Oakland Athletics, they too have a very young, inexperienced starting staff, so they're not able to pitch late, puts a lot of pressure on the bullpen. So I think as this starting staff gets better, the workload on this bullpen will decrease, and they will become much more effective because they won't have to pitch as many innings.
Matt Laporta now. Fastball right there for a strike on 1. So Hernandez allows 2 runs on only 5 hits. And he struck out 4 and walked 3, and none of the walks hurt him. Outside. It's kind of amazing that here it is August 27th and the first time these teams see each other on the year. I mean, they've each already gone through big transformations and they're finally getting together.
Yeah, Eric Wedge made a point of that, the manager of the Indians. He said today will be a very important note-taking day, given they're playing a 4-game series and you'll have 3 more games after tonight's game, and the first time you get to see players firsthand.
Just did get a piece to stay alive.
He said he's going to really watch closely and see if he can't see some things about hitters he's not that familiar with, about the way they're pitching, and now that the bullpen's in, about how their bullpen will attack his club. And he said it's real challenging. You got guys like Matt Laporta up that have just rejoined the team, and the Orioles don't know much about him. They haven't seen this team all year long.
Outside 2-2.
When the Indians go out to Oakland, it will have been 17 months since their last visit to the Bay Area to play the Oakland Athletics. They first played them last April, and they haven't been out there since.
Of course, with the Central teams, you don't get 3 series if you're an East team with all of them. because there are more teams in that division than in the West. And Laporta goes down on strikes, 2 down. So Chris Ray gets his first strikeout and 2 away. Time is running out for you to win the Cesar Estouras T-Shirt Tuesday VIP Experience Sweepstakes. One lucky winner will receive 4 VIP seats and VIP parking for Tuesday's game against the Yankees. You'll also win 4 passes to watch the Orioles and the Yankees take batting practice right from the field. The deadline to enter is midnight tonight, so get online, Orioles.com, for your chance to win. Andy Marte now. Marte tripled his last at bat and scored. Foul off. Chris Ray looks good again. Attacking the hitters. Good stuff. Good location. Just outside, he laid off. 2-1. High popper. Shallow center. PA charging in. He'll get there. And he has it for the out. And Chris Ray has a 3-up, 3-down 7th. Tonight's 7th inning stretch brought to you by Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey. Please drink responsibly. Buck Martinez, and another good effort by David Hernandez. Got himself out of a couple of jams. Now he has a chance to win a game.
Yeah, the biggest thing I see, Jim, is the fact that he had a lot of 0-2 counts tonight. And I think he's going to be able to build upon that, because once he gets to 0-2, he's going to have to figure out a way to avoid going 3-2. He did it several times tonight. And once you have a hitter 0-2, that's when he's most vulnerable. That's when you have to make the good pitch down and away, because that is the furthest away from a batter, and it takes the most effort to get to that pitch. And there aren't many guys that are going to really do much damage with that fastball down and away.
So if you're a young pitcher and you get in that situation, what do? Do you just attack? Because it looked like a couple of times tonight he did get ahead, and then he nibbled trying to get him the chase.
Yeah, you want to be more aggressive, and I think that's just a product of their inexperience, understanding and thinking that all major league hitters are going to hit every pitch they throw. So you try to throw borderline pitches and make them chase. They're not going to chase many pitches here. They're going to be patient. They're going to protect the strike zone, and you have to make them make contact in areas of the strike zone that you control, and that's one thing we're going to see improvement from these young pitchers.
Matt Wieters leads off in the Orioles 7th and takes the ball. Wieters batting left-handed for the first time tonight, swings through it, and it's 1-1. Wieters, Andino, and Cesar Estouras are due up here in the 7th inning. And it's over, but low ball 2. Matt is 0 for 2 on the night. He has grounded out and he has popped up to second base. Fouls it off the other way, 2-2.
Part of the development of the pitching staff is going to be coincidental with the development of Matt Wieters, as he understands what each of these pitchers are comfortable doing, what part of the strike zone they're most effective in, when they can throw a pitch and when they have trouble commanding it. And it might not sound like a real challenge, but you know, there's certain pitchers that can pitch to the inside part of the plate, very effectively, have trouble on the opposite side of the plate. So these are all things that Matt's going to learn as he catches these guys more frequently.
3-2 pitch, high fly ball left field. He got a lot of it. Laporta is back, and that ball is gone. Matt Wieters goes out the opposite way, and the Orioles add to their lead. Another opposite field home run for Wieters.
Yeah, and that's a real good sign, Jim. It just tells you that he is not conscious of pulling the ball to hit it out of the ballpark. A 3-2 pitch away, and look how high it is. It's about mid-thigh high, right out on the tee, so he can extend those long arms and drive it to the opposite field and beyond. About 15 rows deep in left field, a little insurance run now.
5th home run for Wieters. And the Orioles have a 4-2 lead now, and Robert Andino will come up. Fouls it off on 1.
Well, Matt Wieters gaining more confidence with each at bat. 3-2 pitch away, not trying to do too much, but his strength allows him to knock the ball out of the ballpark to the opposite field. One of the longest home runs we've seen this year was the opposite field home run he hit in Tampa Bay to right center into the seats.
And Andino has a base hit. Laporta over, and Andino's on with a single here, none down in the 7th inning. Keep up with the latest Orioles news on your favorite social networking sites, Facebook and Twitter. Visit facebook.com/Orioles or twitter.com/BirdlandInsider and follow the O's. You'll be the first to learn behind-the-scenes information straight from the team's communications department. All the Birdland news you need is just a click away. So just Todd got the final out of the 6, but it was a great play by Sizemore. Now he's given up a home run and a single. There's Rafael Perez, one of the 2 lefties in that bullpen. The Indians have an 8-man bullpen and a 3-man bench. Here is Cesar Izturis. And he takes a strike. Carroll is in at 3rd expecting a bunt, but Izturis did not show bunt. He does have 3 sacks on the year. The Orioles have the fewest sacrifice bunts of any team in the American League, just 9. Here's the 0-1, swings away and pulls it foul. Nice catch by the ball girl. Fan as a souvenir. That's why you go to the game. What a nice memory for that youngster. Taking home a baseball. Tampa Bay fan. 0-2 on Cesar Izturis with Andino at first. Manny Baez up in the Oriole bullpen, so each bullpen is busy here in the 7th inning.
Well, Chris Ray had a very good 1-2-3 7th inning. He came on in relief of David Hernandez. Looks like Baez is going to come on and work the 8th inning.
One and 2 on Izturis, and he got it. So Izturis is down on strikes and 1 away in the 7th inning. And here comes Eric Wedge out. We're going to get a pitching change after a pitch that struck out Izturis.
Yeah, and it looked like that might have been a split finger pitch away from him. He swings over the top of it. Late movement took it down and away.
So Todd will leave. Rafael Perez will come on. A run in for the Orioles, a 4-2 game. transmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. Well, earlier in the game, those 4 chairs were filled with relief pitchers, and they're not there anymore. They're on the other side, possibly getting ready.
Rafael Perez comes on for the 40th appearance of his season. He has gone back and forth between AAA and the big leagues 3 times. He was recalled the last time on the 7th of August. Since that time, he has pitched very well, and he's been a guy that has had some control problems in the past, and he has added depth now. He and Tony Sipp have pitched very well from the left side of their bullpen, and he is trying to neutralize this part of the lineup with a runner at first base and 1 out. Orioles up by 2.
Felix Pie will bat. He has 1 hit on the night. That came in his first at bat. Pie now with a 3-game hitting streak. 4-2 game. Andino runs, swinging a bloop to left field. It's playable for Laporta. And Andino will get back to first base and 2 men down. So Andino put in motion. Pie trying to go the opposite way, but he skies out to left.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a hit and run. I got more of a feeling that that was Historis breaking for a steal attempt, and Pie swung at him. I said Historis, of course, it's Andino at first base, and look at Dave Tremblay kind of looking, see, maybe somebody missed a sign, and Andino had a pretty good break.
So 2 down now, and here's Reimold. Strike 1. Reimold walked his last at bat, that was erased on a double play ball, 0 for 2 officially. Rafael Perez has been up and down this year between the Indians and AAA Columbus. Go to first.
That was just a calling card throw to first base, but Perez came awfully close to stepping toward home plate. You have to make a step in the direction of first base, and that was right on the borderline, but the umpires thought it was within the realm of the rules.
0-1 on Reimold. Inside. Well, tomorrow night, you better be careful with that move, because Bob Davidson will be at first base tomorrow night, and Bob Davidson, of all the umpires in the major leagues, is not afraid to call a balk. He's at second base tonight. He'll rotate to first base tomorrow night. Here's the 1-1 bouncer towards third. Tough play for the third baseman Carroll, and it skips past him. That was a tough play because it was hit hard, and he had to make a decision: back up and get a hop or an in-between hop, and it skipped right past him.
Yeah, once you begin to move backwards and retreat, you're really in trouble. And this bounding ball, a couple of top spin hops, and you can see he tried to swipe at it off to the side. Watch his move here as he's going to back up. And once you do that, that second hop, it's just a chance swipe at that ball on the side, and there was an in-between play, and Carroll may have been better off coming after it instead of going back.
It is ruled an error, his second on the year. So the Orioles have first and second with 2 men down for Nick Markakis. Bouncer to second base. Valbuena has it. And a low throw scoop by Marte. So Marte helps out a second baseman, and the inning ends, but Matt Wieters goes the opposite way, his 5th home run. The Orioles now with a 4-2 lead. refreshing beer.
Clay Meredith has been his night covering the bases. We've talked about him and his family, and that's his wife Natalie and his baby daughter Addie. Out in the bullpen, and a great moment this spring when they had the baby. And of course, we've been highlighting Clay and his family all night long.
Clay Meredith covering the bases with Clay. Favorite movie is Shawshank Redemption. His best baseball memory playing down the stretch as a rookie and pitching in the playoffs with the Padres. And here's Danny Baez coming on in the 8th now to protect a 2-run lead. Chris Ray had a perfect 3-up, 3-down 7th. Orioles back home on a lovely Thursday night. Here's Grady Sizemore, the leadoff hitter. Takes a strike. He has both of the Cleveland RBIs. He led off the game with a home run into the Orioles bullpen and then picked up an RBI and a ground out in the 5th inning. There's a strike. 0-2.
Baez is really upbeat about the way this bullpen has come together here in the late stages of the season. With the resurgence of Chris Ray, Jim Johnson taking over as the closer. Cam Michelio added to the bullpen to give it some more depth in the way Danny's throwing himself. Pretty upbeat bullpen right now. Mark Hendrickson, you just can't say too much about what he has done as the lone left-hander out in that bullpen. Pitching in many different situations, but handling each of the roles admirably.
Check swing and appeal to third. James Hoy says he checked in time.
Michelio has been a real pleasant surprise. He was a tough luck loser up in Minnesota in the middle game of that 3-game set. In that 7-6 ball game, he came on and pitched the 8th and 9th and gave up the walk-away base hit to Delman Young. But he has been very good and been very impressive since he has rejoined his ball club.
Sizemore has worked the count to 3-2. Fouls it off.
And as we mentioned earlier, this bullpen, as the starters gain more experience and pitch later into the games, the bullpen will be asked to pitch fewer innings, and then they will be even more effective. When you rest this bullpen and allow them to pitch in matchup situations, they really match up well, especially Clay Meredith. That sidearm delivery, how effective he has been. Jim Johnson's been lights out. Brian Bass had a tough stretch lately, but he has been good in the second half of the season.
Ground ball towards the right side, and it gets through for a base hit. So a leadoff single for Sizemore, and a very good at bat. And the tying run comes to the plate. A 5th and final date has been added to enjoy Oriole Park's newest location, 2110 Utah Street, presented by First Fidelity Mortgage. Team up with all the fans of Nick Markakis and Adam Jones Saturday, October 3rd. For $21, you get a reserved Utah Street bleacher seat and exclusive I Live at 2110 Utah Street t-shirt. The next 2 dates, this Sunday, September 5th, will be sold out, so don't wait. Get the final date Saturday, October 3rd, 888-848-BIRD, or online at Orioles.com. So in this 2-run game, the tying run comes to the plate. Jamie Carroll is hitless on the night. Danny Baez got ahead of Sizemore and couldn't put him away. A little bit low, 2-0. Hernandez wins 6. Chris Ray a 3-up, 3-down 7th. Now Baez in the 8th. Outside corner called strike.
Yeah, just barely caught the outside corner. This is what Danny has been doing lately, even in last night's game in Minnesota. Walked the first batter he faced and struck out the number 2 hitter Orlando Cabrera and got Joe Mauer to hit into a double play.
2-1 is low, ball 3.
He's been really walking a tightrope by allowing a base runner, and then he'll come up with a big strikeout, and more often than not doesn't really feel the impact of those first leadoff hitters reaching base.
3-1 on Jamie Carroll.
I'm a little surprised there hasn't been anybody knocking on the door of the Orioles asking about Danny Baez. Down the stretch, the way he's throwing, given his experience. Back, so many teams are looking for bullpen help. And he's really throwing the ball well, and that's what you're looking for. You're looking for a hot hand. Cliff Lee was a hot hand when Philadelphia got him. He'd won his 3 starts prior to the trade and carried that momentum right into the National League.
Runner goes on 3-2, and Carroll fouls it off. Well, maybe there has been some interest in Baez. The trading deadline to be eligible for the postseason is August 31st, and if Baez has cleared waivers, he would be available to go to any team that worked out a deal with the Orioles. Runner goes again, pitches bounce towards short as Torres charges, has 1 play and gets it to first base to get Carroll 1 away here in the 8th inning. Time for you to text in your vote for the AT&T Player of the Game, and here are the candidates. Melvin Mora has a home run. Matt Wieters has a home run, also caught a runner trying to steal, or David Hernandez, who's in line for a win. Text in your vote now. Have your voice heard, A, B, or C, to 51862. Here is Asdrubal Cabrera, the Cleveland shortstop. Cabrera has popped up, struck out, and walked. Ball 1 taken low. The Orioles are in the 2nd toughest stretch of the year schedule-wise. They played in 20 straight days, had a day off, and they're in the 2nd consecutive 20-game stretch without a day off, and they still don't get a day off until next Thursday. There's a strike. Cabrera didn't like the call. 1-1.
And then they'll have 3 off days within the span of 10 days, which really kind of makes you scratch your head and wonder why they couldn't have been a little more efficient with the off days. September 3rd, September 7th, September 10th. And that's when they're going to really investigate and look at the rotation.
Fouled off. 1-2 on Cabrera.
There's been some discussion that they want to make sure that they don't tax the young starters pitching in September for the first time in their career to a point where they go into the off season a little tender, a little banged up. So if they need to, they might go to a 6-man rotation, making sure guys like Brian Madison, his first year as a professional, don't wear down and pitch when they're a little fatigued.
1-2 the count. Strike 3 call. Cabrera likes that call even less than he liked the other strike. Kevin Causey rings him up and 2 men down.
Well, we mentioned Danny Baez walking a tightrope as he gets up the leadoff base hit, and that's got plenty of the plate. Plenty of the plate, no beef at all, and you can see the movement back over the corner, and Matt Wieters kind of pushed it out of the strike zone a little bit as he kind of caught it with a stiff hand, but Danny made a good pitch.
So 2 down, the runner holds at second. Here is Sin-Soo Choo, who has 14 home runs on the year and 2 hits tonight. Takes strike one. And his ball's got a lot of movement tonight. Choo has a double, a single. He's been caught trying to steal, and he's flied out to deep right field. There's a strike, came right at him.
Yeah, and Danny's got great movement, good velocity. He's in as good a groove right now as he's been all year. Now he's got the advantage of that split finger pitch, 0-2, and Choo has seen 2 good fastballs.
Sizemore leading from second with 2 down. Line the other way. This is a tough play for Raimel. That's in for a base hit. Sizemore will score, and Choo heads to second base. His 3rd base hit is an RBI double, and it's a 1-run game. What a swing on 0-2.
Yeah, he's a good hitter, and he is proving it here as he hits the pitch away. Look where that pitch is. It's out over the plate, a little bit high, and he just takes it the opposite way. Watch how high it is in the zone. It's about belt high, and he takes down the left field line. RBI double, and we are in a one-run game again. 32 doubles on the season, and now he has 70 RBI.
So now the tying run is in scoring position. The go-ahead run is at the plate. And here is Travis Hafner. Strike one. Hafner 0 for 3 on the night. Couple of strikeouts. Blocked by Wieters. Chris Perez getting loose in the Cleveland bullpen.
Well, he has been good. He is the guy that they got from St. Louis in the Mark DeRosa deal, along with just Todd. And he has really thrown the ball well of late, and they keep moving him into more significant situations in the bullpen. And there's our guy, Clay Meredith, who is up and throwing for the first time tonight.
Ball and a strike on Hafner. A run in, 4-3 game. Chu at second base with 2 down. Slow roller. Danny Baez ricochets off him to first. Wigginton to Baez. They got him. What a funky play, but they stayed with it and got the out. So the inning is over. Hafner to Baez to Wigginton to Baez. Cleveland gets a run. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th, 4-3 game. Extra will be on at 6:30 to get things going. You can see that on MASN 2. Then game coverage, Indians and Orioles at 7 o'clock on MASN 2 and WJZ Channel 13. Then following the game, O's Extra post game on both MASN 2 and WJZ. Now viewers in the Baltimore area will see the O's game and post game on WJZ only. So that'll be Saturday. In the pitching matchup that day, it's Chris Tillman for the Birds, Jeremy Sowers for the Indians.
One-run game here to bottom of the 8th inning, and Baez gave up a run but stranded a base runner, and Chu had a big 2-strike double down the left field line that made it the 4-3 score as we stand right now. Melvin Moore's had a good night. Home run, 3 hits, scored 2 and driven in 1.
So the Orioles lead is now 1. Moore fouls it off. Moore got it going in the second inning. This tied the game at 2.
With his club down 1-0, Melvin Moore goes deep against Darren Laffey, his 5th home run of the season. That made it 1-1 in the second.
Scott on deck, and then Wigginton against Perez. And that ball's fouled the other way. Here's Jim Johnson now getting loose to work the ninth. The Orioles will try to get him an insurance run. For Melvin tonight, a multi-hit game is 22nd. He'd gone 8 games without an RBI, snaps that drought. Ball and 2 strikes on him. Tomooko and Chris Perez are throwing in the pen. So Perez was getting loose, and now he's joined by Oka. And Moore goes down on strikes. Good pitch by Perez. He couldn't reach it, 1 away.
A off-speed pitch, kind of breaking ball down and in to Melvin Mora, and he's retired for the first time tonight. Good depth on that breaking ball. Anytime you can get a breaking ball breaking toward that back foot, right-handed hitters have a tendency to swing over the top of it.
Rafael Perez gets the strikeout, 1 out in the 8th. Here's Luke Scott. Luke doubled the drive in the run of the 6th inning that got the Orioles the lead back. And he takes a strike on 1. Cleveland again is over shifting on Luke. And a tapper off the glove of the pitcher goes to the shortstop Cabrera and gets it to first as Luke hustled down the line, 2 men down. So by over shifting, that helped out Cleveland because Cabrera was right there.
Cabrera reacted very effectively on that comebacker. He didn't move initially until he saw the contact and wanted to make sure where the ball was headed. A lot of times guys will move on contact, but he saw the ball going back toward the mound. Perez swipes at it, tips it, and then Cabrera waited before he takes off. Watch, little hesitation, just held his ground, and then once he sees where the ball is going, he goes after it and throws out Scott.
So 2 down in the Oriole 8th. Here's Wigginton. Ball 1 low. Wigginton walked and scored on an error in the 5th inning. That run tied the game at 2. Towards the gap in right center. That's going to fall for a base hit. And that's going to get down and go all the way to the wall. And Wigginton will cruise into second base with a 2-out double. His first hit tonight.
16th 2-bagger of the year for Ty Wigginton. He reached on a walk and scored back in the 5th inning. This is his first hit. Staying on that pitch away. They have pitched him away all night long, and he finally cashes in on that ball down and away and drives it to the base of the wall and right.
So Wigginton is on with 2 men down and scoring position for Matt Wieters, who gets another at-bat. Wieters batting right-handed again. He hit a home run left-handed his last at-bat. Inside, ball 1.
Big insurance run out there at second base. Let's give Jim Johnson a little room to work with. Look at the lineup coming up in the top of the 9th. Valbuena, Shopik, and Laporta. 6, 7, and 8 in the Indians lineup.
And ball 2 inside. Perez came on and got the final 2 outs in the 7th and stays on here to work the 8th. Wigginton a 2-out double. And now 2-0 on Matt Wieters. Matt takes a strike, 2-1.
In this situation with that insurance run at second, the outfield is behind Perez. Sizemore in center and Chu in right really throw well. Matt Laporte is a converted first baseman playing in the outfield, and he's just getting the mechanics down. But the two in center and right respectively throw well.
Ball 3 as Wieters has a patient at bat. Wieters now has a 4-game hitting streak with his home run tonight. His second home run since the break. Wigginton a good lead off second base. The angle lead. 3-1 on Wieters with 2 down. Yeah, good cut. 3-2. Orioles trying to get a win in this opening game of the 10-game homestand. 4-3 lead in the 8th. Wieters line drive center field. It hangs for Sizemore, who has it for the out. Wieters hit it well, but right at Sizemore. Here we go to the 9th inning. Jim Johnson comes on to look for the save. Southwest.com and by Wendy's. It's way better than fast food. It's Wendy's. Lovely night at Oriole Park at Camden Yards as you look down Utah Street. And then we go to the 9th inning, a 1-run game. So here's the closer on to look for the save.
Picked up his 6th save on Sunday at Chicago. Worked an inning, gave up a couple hits and a run, but was able to hang on for the save. A nice job. Good command, only 18 walks in his 58 2/3 innings, and he will be anxious to wrap this one up. Had a 1-2-3 9th inning in that series finale in Minnesota last night. Struck out Justin Morneau, got Kubel on a 1-4-3 putout, and then retired Michael Kadai on a ground ball to the short.
Luis Valbuena will lead off. Shopik and Laporte are due to follow. And strike 1 by Jim Johnson. Slow roller past the mound. Tough play for Andino. Throws on the run. He got him. 1 down. 1 away in the 9th inning. Here's an update on the voting for tonight's AT&T Player of the Game. And Melvin Morrow with that home run has the lead, 75%. Hernandez 20%. Wieters 5%. Still time for you to text in your vote and have your voice heard. A, B, or C to 51862. And the results are coming up on O's Extra postgame. We're going to get a pinch hitter here for Kelly Shopik. Here's Johnny Peralta. who will come off the bench.
Now Peralta is the regular third baseman. He's got a chance here in this one-run game. He got some pop, 10 home runs. Not a usual at-bat for Peralta. He doesn't get a chance to pinch hit very often. This is just his second pinch hit at-bat of the season for Eric Wedge.
1-0 as Johnson misses inside. Peralta, one of the mainstays on this team. Players that Oriole fans have seen before. 1-1 as Johnson looks for the save.
Two quality pitches, a sinking fastball away, and then that sinker inside at 94 over matches Peralta. Only the second at bat he's had against Jim Johnson.
1-2 the count on Peralta. A little bit low, 2-2. For Johnson, his 52nd appearance, that is tops on the club. Baez now has 47. Broken bat, slow roller towards short as Torres charges, throws on the run. He got him, and 2 men down. That one hugged the ground all the way to his Torres. And he made it look very easy. 2 outs.
Well, when Johnson's pounding the strike zone, down in the zone with that two-seam fastball, it's very challenging for hitters to do anything but beat it into the ground.
You know, the Oriole fans looking for a win and out away. Matt Laporta will come up now with 2 outs and the bases empty. Ball 1 inside. Laporta 0 for 3 on the night. And a good pitch, swung on and missed. Johnson looking for what would be his 7th save. Bounce towards third, and it goes foul.
Again, that's the value of movement. 95 miles an hour, but the hitters can catch up to 95 miles an hour, but they can't do much when it's got late movement and takes it down around the barrel. Never really hit it square. Gets you a lot of broken bat, easy ground ball outs.
All the fans into it behind Johnson. Two weak ground balls for the first 2 outs. And 1 and 2 on Laporta. Doesn't chase. Count evens 2 and 2. If the inning continues, Andy Marte is due next. He is the number 9 batter. And Tremblay hoping it ends right here. 2 and 2 on Matt Laporta. Just got a piece. And he's paying for it. Came down right on his foot, it looked like.
They're trying to walk off the feeling of that ball fouled off. Down and in, the movement, all you can do is hit the top half of the baseball. Hits it right into that instep.
Two and 2 on Matt Laporta. 2 outs, none on, a 1-run Oriole lead. High ball 3. Well, Johnson got ahead of Laporta. Now the count full 3 and 2. Orioles looking on from the bench. The 3-2 pitch is grounded foul. That one hit sharply.
Not a good fastball. touched it up to 97 that time and still had good movement. Sometimes when you get a little more velocity, you have a tendency to throw it right through the movement, but he didn't do that. Kept the integrity of that two-seamer, and it just really took a lot of big late dive down and in.
Laporta steps out after every pitch. Johnson's been on the mound waiting to pitch. 3-2 is hit through the middle, and there's a base hit. A hard hit ball for Laporta. So an extended at bat, and Laporta gets on with 2 down, which gets the go-ahead run to the plate.
Well, tip your cap to Matt Laporta. He battled, fouled off some tough pitches, and hits the hot shot right past Johnson into center field.
The way Johnson reacted there looked like he thought he should have had it, but that ball was hit hard. So here's Andy Marte, the number 9 batter. Ball 1 low. Triple and a run on the 5th. He's also flied out twice. Ball 2.
This is a timely trip by Matt Wieters. Just to go out and have a little positive conversation. Hey, Jim, you're throwing the heck out of it right now. Don't have to try to do anything special. Just make good pitches down in the zone. A 1-run ball game. Sin-Soo Choo with the RBI in the top of the 8th made it a 1-run game.
Ball 3, and of course you'd prefer to end it here, because if Marte gets on, it turns the lineup over and it puts the tying run into scoring position. There's Grady Sizemore. He is the leadoff hitter on deck. Taken all the way, 3-1. Hernandez wins 6. 2 runs on 5 hits. Chris Ray a 3-up, 3-down 7th. Danny Baez allowed 1 run on 2 hits in the 8th, and now Johnson in the 9th. 3-1 on Marte. Fouled it off, 3-2. Fans want a strikeout to end it. Laporta at first will be off with the pitch. 3-2, 2 down in the top of the 9th inning. High fly ball deep to left. Back on it is Reimold, and he reaches up and it's gone. A 2-run home run for Andy Marte, and the Indians have the lead. In the first row in left field. 2 outs, nobody on, a single and a home run, and the Indians have the lead.
Wow, bottom of the order doing the damage. A 3-2 fastball, and you can see it's up, trying to get that ball down and in, and it's higher than his belt, and he hammers it. Just sneaks into the first row of the seats beyond the reach of Nolan Reimold. A disappointing situation developing with 2 outs.
So the blown save for Jim Johnson, and the Indians now have the lead in the 9th inning. Sizemore fouls it back. Second home run on the year for Marte. What a night he's had. He's got a triple and a run scored. Now a 2-run home run in the 9th inning.
And you really got to credit Matt Laporta for having a heck of an at-bat with 2 outs to keep the inning alive.
And there's a base hit off the bat of Sizemore. Markakis over to try to keep this to a single, and he does. Nicely done. 3 straight hits off Jim Johnson. Clay Meredith now getting loose again, and Rick Kranitz is going to come out and have a chat with Jim Johnson.
We had mentioned how well the Indians have played since the All-Star break. They are 21-16 coming into this game tonight. This is a part of a 10-game road trip that began in Kansas City. Kerry Wood, now with the Indians ahead in this game, begins to loosen up.
Happened in a hurry. 2 outs, nobody on 2 weak ground balls, and then that long at bat by Laporta for the single. And Marte on a 3-2 pitch, hitting it out. Sizemore diving back in. The Orioles now in the bottom of the ninth, down by a run, have Andino due to lead off, then Asturias and Pie. Ball low. Johnson has already thrown 24 pitches in this inning. Bounce it off. 1-1 on Jamie Carroll, who is hitless on the night.
Yeah, we had talked about this bullpen and how well they have thrown of late. Chris Ray had a 1-2-3 7th inning. Baez gave up a run in the 8th on a 2-out RBI double by Sin-Shu Chu. And now Johnson with 2 outs looked like he was in good position. And Matt Laporta had a 3-2 fastball. Base hit kept the inning alive.
Sizemore runs, pitches taken, thrown to second by Wieters from his knees, is not in time. He had a big jump that Sizemore steals his 13th base.
Boy, that's a big stolen base to get into position. He has not run an awful lot this year. He's been hurt out of the lineup, but this is a big steal to get himself into scoring position with 2 outs. You can see that Wieters had to wait for the breaking ball. No chance to come out of his crouch through from his knees, but well late at second.
1-2 is the count on Carroll. Bounce towards third. That is a foul ball. And Johnson trying to get out of this without any further damage. A ball and 2 strikes on Jamie Carroll. Outside 2-2. The Orioles had a 4-2 lead going to the 8th. The Chu double got Cleveland within a run, and now the 2-run home run by Andy Marte has given Cleveland the lead. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Carroll. Ground ball foul. Hugging the line, but foul.
Boy, he's hanging in there again, fouling off some tough pitches. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 9th inning, it's 9-1-2 for the Orioles. Andino, Asturias, and Felix Pie, the scheduled hitters.
Dejected Orioles fans. They were an out away from a win. Hard hit ball. Melvin Mora gloves it. The long throw across got him. Takes a base hit away from Jamie Carroll, and more importantly, saves an insurance run. Andy Marte's 2-run home run has given the Indians the lead. We go to the bottom of the 9th. The Birds looking for a run.
Of the 9th, they still have an opportunity to come back and at least tie this ball game, maybe even win it. Hernandez has a good game.
It's a do-or-die situation for the Orioles. The Birds trailing by a run, headed for the bottom half of the 9th inning. Let's go back now to Jim Hunter and Buck Martinez.
All right, Tom, thank you very much. And we have a new catcher.
Wyatt Torriegas is back behind the plate. as Shopik was flipped in. And the closer, Kerry Wood, 10 for 21 and 16 for 21 to save opportunities. Well, what a comeback by the Indians when they were a strike away from defeat. Matt Laporta kept the inning alive, and then, of course, the 2-run home run by Andy Marte. He had a home run and a triple in tonight's game. Eric Wedge's team has played well in the second half, looking to win their 22nd game. Brian Roberts will come off the bench and pinch hit.
So Brian will hit for Andino. The Orioles down by a run. Brian was given the night off tonight. Well, he's hit 6 home runs since the All-Star break. Here's Kerry Wood. First season with the Indians. Roberts' first ball swinging, fouls it straight back.
Now, Kerry Wood now in a period in his career where he is better suited to work out of the bullpen. Of course, great starter for the Chicago Cubs. He had the 20 strikeout game early in his career. Still has the velocity, as you saw in that first pitch.
He has 16 saves, 5 blown saves. Ball and a strike on Roberts. Strike at the knees. Roberts doesn't like the call. 1-2. 14 seasons with the Cubs, Kerry Wood. A ball and 2 strikes on Roberts. Just gets a piece.
That's the curveball. He uses a flat slider early in the at-bat and then try to go back door with the curveball, and Roberts fouled it off to stay alive.
Ryan had 12 hits on the road trip, including 4 home runs and 9 RBIs over the 9 games on the trip. Kerry Wood gets ahead of him, 1-2. Looking back, ball past the mound towards the middle. Cabrera, tough play. He throws, he got him. Wow. That bat was shattered and then hugged the ground going towards the bag. Roberts retired, 1 down.
Yeah, this is really close to being a serious situation. The barrel of the bat where that sharp end comes flying right at the feet of Kerry Wood. He still had the presence to take a swipe at the ball, but look at the play by Cabrera. From his shortstop position, the barrel of the bat goes right to the feet of Kerry Wood, and he's still thinking about knocking the ball down. But Cabrera coming across the diamond from shortstop in time to get Roberts.
Nice play by Cabrera. Here's Cesar Torres, takes ball 1. Fouled off the other way, 1-1 the count.
This Torres has seen a lot of Kerry Wood. He has faced him 13 times. This to go back to the head-to-head situations in the National League when Torres was with the Dodgers and the Cardinals.
1-1 on Torres. Takes a strike, 1-2.
'79 wins, 50 saves, and you just think that he would have more wins than that, but he has been injury plagued his whole career.
Well, good looking breaking ball there, and 2 quick outs. So Kerry Wood comes on, gets the pinch hitter Roberts, now strike out of his Torres, 2 away.
Good curveball, 1-2, and you can see he drops it over the heart of the plate away. 3 pitches for strikes so far in this inning for Kerry Wood.
That'll bring up Felix Pie, representing the Orioles' last hope. The single came in his first at bat. Fouled it off. Jim Johnson dejected on the Orioles bench after the blown save. He was an out away from an Oriole win, but a single kept it going, then the 2-run home run. Rally caps from the fans. Now back on the screen, 0-2 on PA.
A couple of former Cubs facing one another. PA coming over from Chicago, and Kerry Wood, of course, his entire career spent with the Cubs until he elected to take free agency.
0-2 is line foul. PA's been swinging the bat well. Trying to keep on and keep this going. Reimold, the home run threat, is on deck.
PA's just been a different hitter in the second half when he has been so much more selective.
There's a slow roller towards first. PA hustling. The flip toss and safe at first base. PA beats it out to keep it going. Indians thought they had him. Here comes Eric Wedge.
Well, that play is right in front of you as a batted runner, and PA really hustled down the line. Eric Wedge takes exception to this call by Tim Sheeta at first base. And Sheeta says, Eric, I saw him out. I saw him safe. And Wedge, of course, a lot further away than Sheeta, wanted to come out and plead his case. Short little discussion, and he returns to the dugout. But good for Felix PA hustling down the line. A routine play that he just really outruns the play here as that ball's up the line, and here comes the second baseman Valbuena, a little shovel toss, and the ball just hung up in the air too long. If he throws it on a more direct path, they'd probably get him, but it was just kind of a soft toss that floated to first base, and PA beats it.
So the Orioles have life. Nolan Reimold up, tying run at first and 2 down. Well, good company missed it, 0-1. Rally caps, keeping it going. 0-1 on Reimold. Outside. Indians have their outfield pretty deep to cut off the double, and there's a lot of room in right center field for Reimold.
Yeah, anything all the way over in this area, PA's got to score.
PA runs. Pitch is swung out and hit towards third. Tough play for Carroll. That is a fair ball and safe. PA going to third. PA took off and Reimold with an infield hit. So the tying run goes to third base with 2 down.
Well, and it gets your best hitter to the plate. That ball looked like it was foul. Looked like it was in foul territory. Reimold always runs well, beats it out, and on the alert heads-up base running, PA goes to third. But Reimold, every time he has a chance to run, he gives you everything he's got, and that paid off right there.
And that gets Nick Markakis to the plate. So the tying run is at third, the winning run is at first, and the Orioles' top RBI man is at the plate.
You've got to look for a first pitch fastball here from Kerry Wood, and if it's not a fastball, take it. But look for Wood to try to get ahead with that big fastball.
High, 1-0. Good eye. Each closer in this game had 2 outs and nobody on when the rally started. Orioles trying to match the Indians as Mark Hendrickson gets up. Ball 2. Markakis did not have an RBI in the 9 games on the trip. Chance here to get this game even. Popped up foul. That'll be in the crowd.
How about the way this baseball game turns things around? Felix PA, who had such a disappointing game on the bases in Minnesota in game 2, hustles, beats out an infield hit, and then alertly moves into third base on the throw to first. Wild pitch now. He can tie the game up.
And Kerry Wood has thrown 5 wild pitches on the year. 2-1 on Markakis with 2 down. There's a strike, 2-2. So Kerry Wood fell behind 2-0, and now the count is even at 2-2 with PA at third and Reimold over at first. PA's the tying run. Birds down to their final strike. Check swing, and he went too far. Markakis is out on strikes, and that's how the game ends. Kevin Causey said he went too far. He didn't check, and the Indians hold on. So PA got a rally starting, but it short circuits as Markakis strikeouts.